and welcome to our episode of Damsels After Dark, where we, your favorite damsels, dive into a book each week from cover to cover to discuss, analyze, rant, obsess, all of it. This week we read The Wicked King, the second book in the Folk of the Air series. This review contains spoilers, so if you do not want to have these books secrets revealed to you, please do not listen. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
So, as per usual, I'll be reading the book synopsis. After the jaw-dropping revelation that Oak is the heir to Faerie, Jude must keep her younger brother safe. To do so, she has bound the Wicked King, Cardan, to her and made herself the power behind the throne. Navigating the consistently shifting political alliances of Faerie would be difficult enough if Cardan were easy to control, but he does everything in his power to humiliate and undermine her, even as his fascination with her remains undiminished. When it becomes all too clear that someone close to Jude means to betray her, threatening her own life and the lives of everyone she loves, Jude must uncover the traitor and fight her own complicated feelings for Cardan to maintain control as a mortal in a fairy world.
Yeah, I felt like after reading the synopsis, I was hoping to jump into like a crazy prologue, especially after, the first book.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a cool little snippet of her history living with Maddox.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. Though I was ready to jump into what was going to happen after she did that throne stealing.
Yeah.
What is it? The Kingmaker moment.
Yes, I love that she's called the Kingmaker.
I do too.
So, they call it the Kingmaker, but I think her title is the Queen or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Queen
I think you're right.
But she's considered the Kingmaker amongst the people and stuff like that. It's a wonderful name.
But yeah, I did like this prologue. It
Yeah.
was a good sort of view into her past, and so it starts with Maddox training Taryn and her, and like setting them up for like a practice test, right? Doesn't he like say, okay, you have to go guard this hill, and then I'm gonna storm it, and you have to stop me.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said something very powerful throughout the books that she will reminisce back to is it's easy to get power, but it's hard to maintain it or keep it. And that's great and wonderful for what happened in the last book. She got power pretty much. Mm-hmm. Now she has to keep it. So it's a good prologue to what's to come.
And that seems to be the theme of this book, is her all throughout trying to maintain the power that she so brilliantly acquired.
Yeah. Oh, I was so intrigued as to what she's going to do next, because she's living in this fairy realm with, as a mortal who everybody, most of the fae or folk don't like. Mm-hmm. So it's brilliant to see how she got to where she is and then is trying to keep it, because everybody's against her now.
Yeah, especially coming from somebody who most people didn't like.
Yeah.
And even within the gentry, people didn't like her, or a part of the court, they didn't like her. So to watch her rise to power, that took not only them by storm, but I would say maybe most of the readers took me by storm for sure. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah, and now, like you said, they hated her, but now that they hate her more, how is she going to keep this? What? And she's killed already, so how much more does she have to go in order to keep it?
And she said all the way in the first book, maybe even too far. I love that. Yeah. Like, I love that quote from the first one. She says that she's willing to go pretty much too far to just, again, and it's to keep the power that she's acquired, yes, through her control over Cardan, but also like establishing her own station in the in the fairy world.
Yeah.
Not being vulnerable anymore. Like her establishing that sort of power has been beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. So we go into what would be present day. It's 5 months after she's already acquired I don't know how to say the word, so I'm just gonna say the advisor to the king.
Yes, same, because
I can't. I would rather add more words to that than say the word that is used as her title.
Seneschal?
Sorry,
that's the best guess I'm gonna give it. I do the same thing. I just go right past it in my head.
Advisor. I would say advisor. We're
the hand of the king, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally,
it is
the puppet master of the king. Really,
she really does control everything. So any little decision he makes, she's right by his side, pretty much. And it shows that when he's at court, because he's pretty much meeting with the public, I'm guessing. Like,
Yeah, he's doing his kingly
duties.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, people are bringing problems to him, and he's slouching hard on the throne, not really
Yeah.
caring.
Yeah.
And if, just like a brief recall to the first book, she has him in a current oath that she basically owns him for a year and a day. And we're 5 months after the end of the book one, and so she's
only got like 7 months left.
Yeah, she's coming up on that deal, and also she's trying to think of a way to keep this for 7 more years, or even 10 years, because she's trying to put Oak on the throne.
Yeah. So if she doesn't get Cardan to abdicate the throne
Mm-hmm.
prior to her time of controlling him, he might never give her the throne to give to Oak. So she's pretty much playing this game for this 7 months she's got left to try and convince him to allow her to have more power over him, but he's refusing.
Yes.
So at this point, while she's meeting with the people, Cardan's met with 3 people, and one is a blacksmith that was exiled from a former king.
Grimson.
Yes, and he pretty much says, "Hey, if you allow me back into court and let me make a name of myself, I will pretty much make anything for you. The only thing I want is to pretty much work my way up into being the best blacksmith known in the area."
Yeah, because he's like a magical blacksmith.
Yeah.
He makes not just regular old blacksmithing
items.
things.
Yeah, he does. He'll like make a sword and it'll have magical potential or magical I don't know, things that I think at one point in time he made a whole bunch of things for the other king and only for that king because he was bound to him, and then when that king was exiled, he was exiled with the king because whatever he made for that king made him more powerful, stronger, and so he was seen as part of the problem for that. So they exiled him out.
He's an advantageous ally to keep.
Yes.
I would keep him around.
Yes. So Cardan ended up saying yes to that agreement, and he pledged no loyalty to anybody, which is very dangerous in my eyes, but he said, "Hey, I've already done that and it exiled me. Let me just prove to you that I'm loyal to you." And so Cardan still accepted the offer, allowing him to have pledged no allegiance to anybody, which is super dangerous.
Yeah, definitely super dangerous. But also, like, you want him on your side.
You do. And so I think that's what Cardan was just like, yeah. So I can understand it, but it's like, ooh, I'd keep a watchful eye on him.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd have everybody, like, all my spies keep an eye on him, because if he could create some powerful things, I want him watched.
And then they gave him, like, a place right outside the castle, I think, too.
Like
so you could keep him. Yeah, it was like some old used blacksmithing area. So they are keeping a good eye on him. And then the other person that he sees is this hag. She comes up and she gives him a present, and it's like this weird silky cloth.
Yeah,
right?
That's like strong as armor, but can cut you or something like that.
Yeah. And Cardan is intrigued by it, and I think he was wanting to take it, but the hag says that it's a present in some sort of way that catches Jude's attention, and so Jude kind of steps in. And do you remember exactly?
I don't remember exactly what she says, but she knows that anything in the Fae world is never a gift, like an actual gift like we see it. It's more of a bargain. If you get something, you give something, or you give something, you get something. So she knows that if Cardan were to accept this, that there would have to be some strings attached to it. So she steps in and says something, but what she says I don't remember, or it's more along the lines of, why not just give as a gift or something like that. And so the hag was like, clever girl, if he would, I'll give this to him, but if he were to have accepted it on my terms, he would have had married
me
daughter. Or my daughter. Me or my daughter. It's like, ew.
And even the description of the daughter was gross too. I don't remember what it was, but I remember going like, ew. Yeah. He dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
To kind of show, I think this is a good demonstration of how he's not really mentally there as the king, right? He's not thinking critically because he's grown up in this world, so how is it that he missed something almost so simple that Jude was able to catch? So it just kind of shows that he doesn't really care. And he had even said at the end of book one, too, like, here's your throne, you're ruling over it. Little do
Yes.
people know who's actually ruling them. So I think he's just sort of checked out. So
Yeah, he does not care.
he needs to not be so dumb, because I would have easily foiled everybody's plan just because he wasn't paying close enough attention.
And I wonder at times, too, at this part in the book, if he just wants to see how far he could push June to doing whatever. So, like, I feel like he's just accepting everything just to be a thorn in June's side.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So it's like, I feel like he's just like, oh, yeah, I'll do this, or yeah, I'll do that, and almost making it to where she has to give him a command in front of everybody, and he knows that she won't.
That is true, yeah.
So it's almost like, let's see how far I can push this type of thing.
Well, and also because he's mad.
Yeah.
Like, he's just pissed off at her.
Well, yeah.
Because she fucked him over.
Yeah, he didn't want to play the role of the king, which is the role of the people, and that's a lot of work for somebody who
doesn't want work.
Doesn't want to do anything like that.
And they had an agreement, and they had a plan.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with humans, though, is that they're tricksy.
They're liars.
And they're liars, and she hates to be known as that, but man, does she constantly do it.
She does it all the time.
But it's almost hard because she's put in a position where, like, she sort of has to do it in order to get out of this vulnerable state that she's in, but then she hates the fact that she's doing it, but she plays it to her advantage often.
Well, because the Fae actually lie in their own way.
They do.
So she feels like she has to do it because they're tricksy tricksters as well.
Yeah.
And so if I were her, I'd be like, oh yeah, I definitely would lie in that situation.
I would too.
Because they're lying. You could just tell by the way their repertoire was. It's like, they're lying, so why shouldn't she? Because she needs to save her ass because they don't care about her.
Yeah.
And hey, I mean, it makes sense.
It does. No, yeah, I'm not faulting Jude of it. I just think
it's she's just always lying. Always.
Everybody's lying. You can't trust nobody in this book.
No. So yeah, then after the Hag, Locke comes in.
Oh, that's right.
And he requests Cardan to allow him to become the master of rebels.
Just your party thrower, essentially.
The king's party thrower.
Like, okay.
Yeah, well, and it fits him because he's a man of dramatics. So he wants to do it, which I don't understand why Cardan would allow it, but I feel like I said earlier, I feel like it's to be a thorn in Jude's side, because now she has to work and deal with him.
Yeah, I do agree, but, like, this man cannot be trusted. And
he can't.
Cardan has to know that as well, because, again, he's always after the perfect story.
Yeah.
He's always after how to carve, which is... It's such an interesting personality trait, like, to see how this is unfolding. But also, I would just never trust him. But then at the same time, like, they're... at least I imagine them to be like childhood friends.
Yeah, that's what the first book pretty much wrote him to be.
Yeah.
And they allow themselves to indulge in their bad habits. So I think Cardan is just sick of everything. He wants to fucking do this to Jude. But at the same time, it's not only doing it to Jude, it's doing it to him.
It's doing it to him and to everybody else. Because he's such a wild card. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do.
No. And by the way, he still hasn't married Taryn.
Yeah,
so that's also coming up. I think they are supposed to be getting married within a few weeks.
It's weeks away.
Yeah. So that's supposed to happen. But
yeah, and so right now they're in the throne room. These people are coming up, and then Jude also meets with Baum, and Baum gives her a note that she's intercepted because Belkin is in the Tower of Forgetting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've imprisoned Belkin in the Tower of Forgetting, and so he's trying to send notes to Cardan. And she intercepts it, Baum does, gives it to Jude.
Yes.
And it says, like, come meet me, I have a message for you, or something to that effect.
So he's apparently been doing this for quite some time,
yes.
And she has not been allowing anything to get through to Cardan.
And he essentially has just been sending messages to Cardan saying that he wants to meet with him.
And so while this letter exchange was happening between Baum and Jude, Maddox is, like, lurking in the shadows.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. But, at this point, I don't think they've actually talked, really.
Yeah.
And he's still the general on the council.
Yeah.
So she just, I guess, feels like she can't take him off the council for, that's her dad still, so.
Yeah, it's weird, their relationship, because she still sort of has, I think, this kind of love for him. And so... And she fucked him over, too. I mean, she poisoned him and defeated him. And
she did.
She's fucking everybody. She doesn't give a shit who you are.
Which is fucking brilliant, because they were all fucking her over.
They were all fucking her over.
Even her dad killed her parents, made her come to this world in the first place. So And then he turned a blind eye to all the shit that was happening to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, she's a little bitter about all that. You know, she actually does confront him about this.
But he still did raise her with love.
He did. He actually did.
And that's, I think, what pulls on her guilt strings a little bit.
Because he did teach her how to be strong as well, like in the prologue.
Yeah.
You know, so she learned a lot of her war strategy habits from her general of a dad.
She is badass because of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so they haven't talked. How awkward is that? You fuck
Yeah.
him over, you poison him, and now you see him, and he's in the throne room and lurking in the shadows, just watching you.
So yeah, after this, she decides, I'm going to go pay Velkin a visit because, you know, he keeps sending these messages to Carter, and she's like, I might as well go find out what he wants.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's pretty known that what he was going to want. He's not going to want to be in the tower. He's going to want to be free.
Yeah.
But so she just wants to see for himself. Maybe he has something
Interesting to say to her.
Yeah.
And so she shows up, and you know, she goes up through the tower. She's there, and of course he says no. I'm not telling you what I want. Carden here. You need to bring him. She says no, and then I think he orders this guard. First of all, he's not in a real prison. Like, he's in the lavish style of a prison.
Yeah.
He's in the tower, but I don't know. He's got like rugs and fruit and tea, and I don't know why.
He's even acting like, look, I still have pull, even though I'm in here. And then
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Maybe Carden is feeling some sort of way about. I don't know.
Why are you feeling any sort of way about anything?
Know. He beat the shit out of you,
and he murdered your entire family.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
why is I'm totally confused.
Maybe it wasn't even Carden. Maybe it was something he was doing because he tells the guard to slap Jude, and he does. So maybe the guards are fetching these items for him.
Yeah.
As some kind of like, I don't know, maybe he still has followers.
I mean,
people, cult leaders. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like he shouldn't have any of that stuff.
Absolutely not.
Apparently he still has some kind of pull.
Yeah, I don't know. So he's living large in his cage. He refuses Jude. He does request the guard to slap. Jude says something here that I love, where she says, "I allowed him to slap me." She says it internally, but she's so badass. Only she would think that.
I know. And so after that, she realizes that she's getting nowhere with Velkin, and so she starts heading back, and a lady like grabs her foot, ankle, and pretty much tells her like, "Hey, I knew your mom." And I think that was really the exchange of words. I don't think there was anything else other than that. And so she heads out, and on the way out, she was telling the guard, "Hey, I need you to come back with me. You gotta get something out of the satchel I have. It has what was it for? I can't remember. It doesn't even really matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Because it's actually it's a ploy to get the guard to come with her.
The guard that slapped her.
Yeah. Which is fucking great.
Yeah. And then he follows her, all huffing and puffing, and then she brings him out there to her mount and stabs him or pokes him with a pin, and drugs him, essentially poisons him.
Yeah.
And then she fucking puts him on the back of her horse and then trots back off to the Court of Shadows is where she brings him.
Yeah.
I love her.
It's so brilliant because I think she even tells him, there was a part where he said, "Oh, I thought you were going to do this or that." And she goes, "I lied."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I laughed so hard at that. It's like, obviously she lied. And that's what I don't understand is everybody knows she's a liar. And they still, like, go along with her bullshit. And it's like, I love it. I love it because you're so stupid.
Yeah, they really are.
So it's like, whatever.
Well, and then they are constantly underestimating her.
Yeah,
so, like, of course he's just like, you know, nobody thinks twice about what she's saying or if she is or not lying because, like, what threat does she pose?
And it's crazy at this point because look at where she's acquired. So wouldn't you think by now they would not underestimate her? But they continue to underestimate her.
Well, and because I think that they keep attributing her station as to like
given by Carden,
and that he must like be infatuated with her. Like it must be a love sort of situation that's going on.
That's true.
Instead of that she's a fucking ultimate. That Carden is in fact very frightened of her.
Yes, terrified.
I love that aspect of this so much.
He is terrified of her.
Yeah, he plays it off, but he lets it loose sometimes.
Well, because she even says a few times when she sees Carden react to something, she goes, "Oh, I know that look. It's either fear or he's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knows that that's how he is, and the most people wouldn't see that how he's reacting, associating that with fear. But she knows because that's how he reacts to her.
Because he's always scared of her.
He's always scared of her. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. She's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So she brings him to the Court of Shadows and essentially starts interrogating him, kind of like, what do you know? Tell me everything. And I think he puts up a little bit of a fight, right? But then they start bargaining, and she says that she can kind of move his position or give him a better position in the Court of Shadows if he gives over information. And after some bit of bantering, he agrees, and then he gives information on Belkin, saying that Belkin has been leaving.
There's people coming to him,
meeting
him, and they're the sea people because he's on an island.
Mm-hmm.
So the Selkies or merfolk,
mm-hmm.
or however you want to call them, they will come up from the water, and these are people from the Queen Orglag.
I don't know how to say
Orlag, the sea queen of Nikki's mom.
Nicasia.
Nikki's mom has
mm-hmm.
been pretty much working or talking with Belkin.
Yeah.
And establishing what appears to be an alliance, according
mm-hmm.
to Volsiver. Volsiver is the guard's name. So
mm-hmm.
the guard, has been saying that, that these people have been coming up regularly to meet with him. And
mm-hmm.
he doesn't know the extent of their conversation, I don't think.
No.
He just knows that they're meeting. And when they're meeting, I think they're even giving him things.
Yes.
So that could be where he's getting these lavish gifts from.
Oh, why would you flaunt that so much?
I don't know, but he's an arrogant piece of crap.
That's true. He doesn't really... No. Clearly nobody is really down there watching over him because he's doing all kinds of shady shit and getting away with it.
Yeah.
So they end up making the bargain. He becomes like a quasi-member of the Court of Shadows and essentially agrees to continue to spy for them. Yeah. And then I think she just lets him go.
Yeah, so they go. I guess he goes back to the tower,
mm-hmm.
and so that way he can continue to spy. Also, I like to add here, which doesn't seem like an important thing, but right after that, they have that little thing with the guard. Her and Ghost go and have a little sparring,
mm-hmm.
thing. And I don't think, in my opinion, when I first was reading it, I didn't find that too important. It was almost like, people of the Court of Shadows practicing and working together and stuff. But, if you go back and read it after what you find out, it's important to,
mm-hmm.
read that.
Yeah.
I don't really remember all too much, but it's kind of interesting because she doesn't have too many interactions in this book with Ghost.
No. And also, just as another aside note, the Court of Shadows has grown, so they have more members. And I remember her at least thinking that she couldn't deny doing a spar with him because she couldn't deny that in front of all of the people that were there. So that's essentially why she goes and spars with him.
But she didn't really want to.
No, and if we remember from book 1, Ghost is the one who actually trained her on a lot of things as well too. So I mean, it kind of makes sense that they would go and got some free time, I guess, and go and spar. But yeah, it is interesting because there's not a lot of interaction.
There really isn't. Not in this book. Not compared to the last book where she was always with him on most of their missions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's also important to remember that Carden is being trained by Roach.
Yeah.
So that's still happening because that was one of his bargain things with...
yes, then he gets trained.
Yeah. And I keep forgetting about that. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little added side pieces in this book. Where,
it sneaks up.
Yeah, Carden is like, oh, he's got this, now he's got that. And it's like, okay, I forget. This king is a pickpocket.
Yeah, he's learning to be a pickpocket.
It's hilarious.
The only type of effort he wants to put into anything is
to
be a pickpocket.
At this point, he
even though you're
wants to be a thief.
King and you could literally say, give me that.
Yeah, or get anything you want. Yeah. You don't need to steal it, but he wants to steal, so.
He's an enigma.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All the way to the end of the book, he's an enigma.
Yeah. So after that, Jude's tired and she wants to go back home, and when she goes home, guess who's there? It's Taryn. Taryn's just chilling there, and they haven't talked. This is the first time they've talked in 5 months.
Since the whole... Well, really since the whole Locke situation.
Oh, actually, even before that, yeah, that's true.
They dueled, and then I think that was the last time. They were, sent to timeout in the room for Maddox to come and lecture them, and then they've never really talked since.
Yeah, they haven't, because then when she wanted to go talk to her, she was already moved into Locke's apartment, Locke's estate.
He owns an entire estate,
I'm
girl.
sorry. have an apartment. I should have known that.
He would have way less charm if he just had an apartment.
I know. Whatever.
But,
that's ridiculous.
And I think the last time we see them see each other is when she has the crown. Taryn has the crown, and
barely wanted to give it back.
And Jude had to like rip it out of her hands. God, I hate Taryn so much.
I do not like.
Why wouldn't you just side with your sister? I would not even question it, right?
I wouldn't question it. This is your twin sister who you're supposed to have your back because you're the only mortals in this whole family.
Yeah.
And
some shit is going down.
Yeah, and she just nope, I'm going to go with my shitbag of a fucking fiance.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I still don't understand this arrangement. Like, how are you okay with the fact that your man was out pursuing and kissing your, like, what was the story that he fed her to allow this to happen? And she's like, okay with it?
It's a stupid, no matter what story he gave her, but the story was, oh, I just want to see if you love me enough to let me go. Because he said the same thing.
He did say the same thing to Jude.
It's a fucking stupid line. In fact, I'd be like, I hate you enough to fucking stab you in the throat. How about that?
Yeah. Like, why would one, you betray your sister like that? And two, love your man enough to watch him fuck another girl? Like, they didn't really, but you might as well have. He might as well have just taken it the rest of the way over.
Happened, and she was letting it happen. Your own sister. Ridiculous. So anyway, they're planning their wedding. And she's telling Jude, hey, Vivi and Oak are coming up. And it's like, that's another horrible idea.
I don't know why. Yeah.
That's a horrible idea, but they are coming. And, against Jude's wishes.
Because Jude risked it all to get Oak out of there.
So now they're having this stupid wedding, and they're coming back. I hate this. I can only imagine the fury Jude is feeling, because I was pissed. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. This is 5 months ago, and you saw everybody die.
Yes.
And you're willing to bring your sister and your brother back?
No,
for a fucking stupid wedding?
I do question how much Taryn is in the know about everything that happened. I don't even know that she knows that anything happened. I think Taryn is just dumb, and so my assumption is that she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, but she wasn't there. She wasn't there when it happened.
Maddox knows what's going on, so why? But then again, Maddox wants Oak on the throne, so it makes sense that Maddox would want Oak to come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
But they're still putting... Well, I mean, at this point, let's be fair, they really don't know if Oak is in any danger yet. They just know that he may possibly... This is just a dangerous idea, but, they don't... Nothing's come of yet he's been threatened yet.
That is true.
So, it's still a stupid idea, because that's the whole reason why they got Oak out, was for possible danger.
And just to keep him away.
Yeah.
He just needs to stay near him, not for some stupid-ass fucking wedding.
The dumb wedding.
To lock.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. So, when Jude's there, when Taryn's there, she gives Jude her stuffed animals that she used to have from the mortal realm when they were kids. And she tells her, hey, I'm going to start bringing some stuff by. And Jude's like, no. And she's like, please let me just do this. And she gives in and says, yeah, you could bring stuff.
I think that was sort of interpreted as her way of apologizing. Yeah. She wasn't going to come out and say that she was sorry for all the stuff that happened, but so she is doing these, nice favors.
Yeah. And Jude was even thinking, oh, she could be a spy, which is smart on Jude's behalf, because I would have thought the same thing. She's only just coming here, so she has access to my room to look at my shit. And that's exactly what Jude was thinking. But she's just like, you know what, maybe... She is trying to really apologize. Yeah. Let me give her that.
And and Taryn also pretended to be Jude to even get to her room.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Already doing fishing, which is a good foreshadowing.
Yes, a very good foreshadowing.
Because they switch places, I think maybe 2 or 3 times in this book.
Yeah.
In small things like this. Yeah. And I really liked how the author did this.
Yeah.
But anyway, she pretends to be Jude to get up to her rooms, gets her the stuffies. I think
so she's got the key. She's got a key to her room already.
Yes. And I think this is also when Jude or Taryn wants to design her dresses or get her things made, which I really like the dresses or the outfits that she designed. Yeah. And I love that Jude takes it to heart so much, thinking that the only person who could sorry, let me collect my thoughts. Taryn doesn't know all the things that Jude has done. Taryn doesn't know the story, but the outfits that she made were perfect. So it's like she internalizes it as only Taryn, who really knows me, would be able to do this without knowing what I've done, but she knows who I am. I love that part.
Yeah, I loved it too.
She's constantly loves her sister, and all she wants is just all she has is admiration for her sister.
Yeah,
And
it's
her
so
fucking
sweet.
sister's a piece of shit. But she does these sweet things where she's like, I love her. Only she would know me, truly.
Yeah, and it's so sad because I think Jude even knows deep down inside, even though she loves her sister and her sister does some dumbass shit, she's still just going to sit there and be like, well, I love her, so I'm gonna accept her stupidity. I'm gonna be mad at her. I'm gonna fight her to a duel, but I still love her.
But I'm gonna excuse it all because I love her.
So I mean, it's.
Yeah, it'd be great if Taryn also felt the same.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's backstabbing her every chance she gets. So so after that, Jude takes all her stuffies, and this is when you could start to see that her disassociation from her former emotions of who she was starts to just,
Yeah, this was a beautiful representation.
Yeah, she starts burning her stuffed animals. She's like, I don't need this. She's like, I'm grown up. This is not who I am anymore. She has no emotional connection to any of the stuff that she used to.
She is not that person anymore. She has done all of the things to sort of wipe whoever that was away. And
I thought it was good.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love Jude's thought process. I love it. Because in most books, like, sometimes they want the main character to make a stupid decision so the story progresses. This is not one of those books. She makes great decisions, and sometimes they don't always work.
Yes.
But I still would have been like, I still would have made that choice.
Yeah, I see the logic behind it.
Yeah, and I still would have made that choice.
And a lot of times she's failing because it was a risk, but it was a calculated risk on her part, and sometimes risks just don't work out. Yeah. Sometimes the luck just isn't on your side that time. Yeah, so you're 100% right. Everything she does is fucking, I love her.
Yeah, I
love
it all. The same choices as she did. So so after that, I believe Jude goes to sleep and is awoken the next morning by ghosts. Pretty much saying, hey, you gotta go to Cardin's. He has an apartment. Why they call his place an apartment?
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's where I'm getting. That's why I get confused.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
But yeah, so Cardin has apartment. The king, the High King, has apartments.
He's got some apartments.
I'm guessing they're like he owns the estate apartments. But
yeah, or I was thinking of it like he owns like this wing of the castle, and they're just
they call them apartments.
Yeah, they call it the apartments.
Which makes sense because it is still. He's still able to be connected to the palace somehow. I don't know. My head is so weird about where everything is in the palace. I don't really know.
I just assume that you got it right. Yeah. And I'm assuming this is somewhere on the castle grounds where tunnels or hallways are leading me.
And that's very true because in the last book, that's what was happening. Even in Hollow Hall, where Cardin used to live, all those houses and estates have all these passageways. So why would the kingdom be any different?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to go all these secret passageways. Kingdom's threatened. You gotta So anyways, he's got his own kind of sweet apartment area, and Ghost is waking her up to drag her over there because there's been some commotion.
A lot of commotion.
A lot of commotion. So Jude gets there, and there's like something's on fire in the room.
Things are broken.
Yeah. It looks like, what's that movie, The Hangover?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about.
That's my image.
Somebody's, like, even the people in there are all, like, messed up, but when Jude gets there, apparently they're, like, screaming and yelling and having a commotion, and so...
Locke's there.
Yeah.
Cardin's there. Some other courtiers.
Yeah.
Some other people are there. I think there's some unknown women and
lots of unknown women. Apparently.
Lots of unknown women. Was Taryn there? I don't remember.
I don't think Taryn was there. Not at this point. I know she's at some of the other occasions, but this one I don't believe she is.
Okay. And then, essentially, there's a woman shrieking that Cardin tried to attack her. Again, I'm getting Joffrey vibes.
Yes!
He's got
I did too.
A bow and arrow trying to kill this poor girl.
But the thing is he says, no, I've been attacked too, look. And, like, he's got, like, a superficial wound. And apparently there was 2 bolts from a crossbow that were shot, he said, from the shadows out of, like, nowhere, and no one was there. So now they're under the belief that there's a secret passageway. So they start looking through everywhere. I think, what is it, a clock? Like right near the clock or something they find?
I thought it was like an armoire.
It could be.
It had like a image of like celestial stars.
Yeah, it was for lovers is what it was. So it was an armoire, and I think on the armoire was a clock.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's supposed to show pretty much a lover's, like, night or something like that. And so they do something, and I guess they heard a click, and then a passageway opened.
Yep. And I like that nobody questions that Jude's gonna go handle it. She's
know.
like, I'm gonna go down here, and Ghost is like,
Yeah.
okay, the guards aren't even, and they've kicked everybody else out of the
No
room.
one cares that she's just gonna go, the mortal of the story.
Yeah, well, they're all like, yeah, Jude, go, please.
Yeah, have at
You're
it.
the only one who can handle this.
Yeah,
please.
she's immortal. Everybody else is fucking folk, where they have magical powers and strength, and she's just like, yeah, I got this.
Okay, don't worry, guys.
Yeah, so she does.
Yeah, so she goes down this passageway. She also sees the bolts left, the crossbow.
Yeah, crossbow.
And it's apparently really big, that somebody had to, like, drag it down the hall.
And it's like a narrow passageway, too, so
Mhm.
you really had to get in there to aim.
And she goes all the way to the end of it, and I think it enters into King Eldaron, who's the first king from Book 1. That's his name, right? Eldaron.
Yeah, Eldron.
I'm gonna fuck all these names
Eldrin?
up. Eldrin. Eldrin sounds right.
Oh,
And it goes to his bedchamber. And who is sitting there at the bedchamber?
Nikki.
Nikki! Crying. I think she's crying.
Yeah,
and she's in a robe.
Yeah, she's very upset. Very dramatic.
Why is she still there?
I
Why wouldn't you
don't
have
know.
left I would have not hung around.
She's dramatic. She should have been with Locke. She was, actually, but she should have stayed with him.
They are perfect for each other.
They
really.
are. They should have stayed with each other.
So she's sitting there. She's in a robe. She's crying. And I love their reunion. Because these two, the last major event of these two is Nikki freaking slapping her across the face right before the drugging.
Yeah, that's right.
In a real intense moment. I know that
Yeah.
wasn't their last encounter, but that's still the last large encounter I remember. between
Because
the two
all
of them.
other times when she was just making snide comments and just like walking away from it.
Yeah,
Really
I'd be
not.
wanting to kill this girl every time I saw her.
I hate her. I hate most of all of Cardin's friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, after that, I think she has like this conversation with the end of the conversation is that as long as Jude doesn't tell Cardin it was her that shot Cardin, because she, out of jealousy, she was supposed to surprise him. And like I don't know, in a little escapade type thing.
Yeah, she was sneaking into the room to get laid.
Yeah.
And seduce Cardin because they were together. They were boyfriend and girlfriend for a while, but then she let Locke come in and
fucking Locke
do his fucking magic. I don't know what this guy's got.
He's a piece of shit.
He's got some shit though, apparently. And why would you go? Why would you leave a prince?
I don't
to go be with Locke?
I'll not agree to that. And Cardin just seems like, and apparently they were in love.
Yeah.
And I guess Cardin was like a really good sweetheart to her and everything, and like she was madly in love with him, and just for some fucking reason she left. I can't explain that shit to me.
No.
I don't know.
What does Locke have? What is it?
I don't know.
Please.
I think he's a piece of shit. I do not understand.
And he looks like a fox. Like
yeah. You know, okay, I don't know. That's giving me very Akatar vibes.
It is.
I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I don't know I don't know, whatever. So, yes, they were a thing. They're no longer a thing, but now she's trying to rekindle because, of course, Locke doesn't care about Nikki. He left her for Taryn, who he will be marrying in a couple days. So she's crying and says all this to Jude, and then also says, doesn't want Jude to tell, obviously, because she tried to essentially kill a prince. I don't know what.
She didn't mean to kill him. She wanted to kill the woman.
She wanted to kill the woman, but you're still shooting at the prince.
Yeah, and she's just like so pissy about it. So like, what do you think's gonna happen? And she's got bad aim.
Yeah.
She's got horribly bad aim.
Yeah.
So, and the Cardin makes a comment at some point
I have it.
Okay. I think it's
because
after.
I love it.
I think it's after.
It
so
is.
we'll just continue with this. So anyway, she tells her, hey, like, don't tell him, and she's like, well, then tell me secrets about what your mom's doing because of the Belkin thing.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So she's just pretty much saying the only thing I know is that my mom wants us to marry.
Yes. Because the Sea Witch is just almost trying to take back her treaty because technically it was with the older king.
Yeah.
And so maybe now the queen is trying to use this to reinstate the treaty, or at least that's going to be her ploy.
Yeah.
But you know, it does make sense to have those two married. To have the sea princess and the king married.
It makes logical sense for an alliance, to keep the land and the sea with the union. I mean, I get it. It's political. It makes political sense. But obviously, them two, you know, Cardin doesn't want to marry her. He doesn't want to be with her. Mm-hmm. He's pissed off at her still. Even though he still cares enough to have her around, he doesn't want to be with her. Mm-hmm. So they make this agreement, and Nikki leaves the room, and I think that's when Jude just goes right back up to Cardin.
Yeah, and essentially Jude just decides that the room isn't safe, so she has nowhere really to put him but her rooms, which makes sense. I like this doesn't feel forced at all. Oh, this feels totally logical.
I know. I was like, oh yeah, cool, let's bring him to my room. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Let's bring the drunk prince to my room.
Nowhere else to put him but my room. I mean, I would do that.
like, come on,
I guess he's gonna stay with me. Yeah. But then she's also kind of kicking herself in the ass for not actually securing his room either, like almost sort of a failure. Because
well, he apparently really, really, really wanted to go into that room, and I think they just kind of assumed that there was no passageways. They said they kind of looked, and they didn't think of any or see of any. So,
and it was essentially that Carden didn't want to stay in Eldrin's. Thank you. He didn't want to stay in Eldrin's room. And then this passage led because Eldrin had these consorts, and this is where his secret lovers.
Yes.
So where Carden is one of the secret lovers would be.
Yeah. And they made a comment like, why would he want to stay in that room?
Yeah.
But I don't think Carden knew.
I don't think he knew either.
But also his mom was a consort. They did mention that a while back.
Yeah, and I think that...
But I don't think
I think these are more like lovers, like not even consorts.
They're
just
yeah,
like
they were separate.
Rooms.
They were separate from the consorts. That's right.
So I don't think anybody knew except for those who were using them. Yeah. So essentially, though, but they're eventually going to put him back in that room. But for now, she's taking Carden to her room, and he's drunk.
He's drunk as all shit.
And yeah, so he does, he has some wonderful lines here.
Kiss me until I'm sick of it.
Yes, I love that. So he's like drunk on her bed, and he's like laying down, and she's like, go to bed, and that's what, and he said he just I just imagined him just like flop down on her bed, half awake. Yeah.
Kiss me until I'm sick of it. I like the line after that. He said, if you're the sickness, I suppose you can't also be the cure. I like that one. So
I do like that one too.
Yeah.
I love the line, which you kind of alluded to already in the a minute ago.
Yes.
That he says, for a moment, I wondered if it wasn't you shooting bolts at me.
Yeah.
And she makes a face at him, and she asks, what made you decide it wasn't? And he grins at her and says, because they missed.
Yes.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and she says, only he could provide an insult as a compliment.
Yeah.
Or a compliment as an insult, and vice versa. And he does. He does it throughout the whole book with her.
Yes, yeah, it's great.
A compliment is an insult, and an insult is a compliment. All the time with her.
I love it.
With him.
He's so sly.
Yeah.
But I love that. Because they missed. Because he knows. He's so fucking scared of her. He knows.
Yeah.
If she wanted him dead, he would be dead.
And he says that throughout the book a number of times, because there's a couple times where, well, it'll be in the future, but like he was saying things like, oh, the only reason, if you want to be dead, I would have been dead. If the only reason why I'm here right now is because you want me here, and stuff like that.
And like when he has I was prisoner in the first book, he'd be like, or if I was gonna run, you'd get me, so I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
I love how scared he is of her. I don't know why I love it so much. I think it's because I've never, ever experienced this in any other book.
Yeah.
Never had the male love interest, if he is or is not, so afraid of the main character.
And he has powers.
He's the fucking king. He's got powers.
And he's afraid of this mortal
girl.
And it's like, it's great, but he has every reason to, because she is threatening.
She's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a badass.
Yeah. So after that, he's like just pretty much just chilling in her room, all comfortable and stuff.
Yep.
And she starts looking at him and recalls a memory a few months ago I'm assuming in the beginning.
Yeah.
And she tells him, they're walking through the gardens, and she tells him certain commands in order to pretty much preserve her position beside him. So she says things like, never deny me an audience or give me an order to keep me away from your side. Never order me arrested or imprisoned or killed, hurt or detained, nor raise a hand against me. Every evening they will meet in his rooms before dinner to discuss policy. He must warn her of any harm coming her way. Prevent anyone from guessing how she controls him, and he must pretend like being a king. So he has to go around, and he does severely look like he's enjoying his kingly duties a lot.
And she's making note about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great, this is going to be harder to get him off the throne, because he looks like he's enjoying himself.
And he, at one point, tells her not that long from now, that he is. That he is. He's like, I'd rather like it, actually. So.
And then I think after that, they just sort of go to sleep, and then I think she sleeps on the couch and he sleeps on her bed.
Yeah,
Like that.
they're not, but his stuff is all thrown about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
He-
all over
he's made his
room.
presence known in
yeah,
her room.
in her own room.
So if
yeah.
anybody just happens to be walking in,
And they do. They
Oh,
see
they- of course
it.
they do.
They all see
Of
his
course
shit.
they-
Well, they already know she like got him in his room.
somehow, yeah, and they already know that they've got something going on.
Yeah,
Whether or
most
not
people do.
they actually know what's going on,
Yeah.
which nobody does.
Because they really don't at this moment. There is no. They had that kiss prior to him being king, but there really is no love affair.
No.
It's just banter between them both.
And that wasn't even really like a romantic kiss. That
was her being like, huh,
She had a dagger to
Yeah.
his throat.
let me just do this. Is kind
Mm-hmm.
of a thing. And she's just interesting.
Let
It was
me-
more like,
Yeah,
interesting.
it was like calling his bluff. Like,
Yeah.
let's see where this... She almost had a little bit of luck in her. She's
Yeah.
like, let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Even
even in...
when she was with Locke, she kind of was just like, oh, this is just for fun to pretend.
Yeah, like, that's what I like about her is that she's never at any moment... I don't even want to say boy obsessed, but, like, she's never... there's not a thought of love in her mind. And when it's
No.
there, it's so small.
And it's not serious.
No.
None of this stuff is serious to her. She takes
Mhm.
everything, which is great, because the stuff she is supposed to take serious, she takes serious.
Mhm.
And she doesn't take these guys too serious.
No.
They're not like somebody she needs to, like, make sure she puts over and above all else.
No, she does not.
And let's be honest, considering we've come from a book where her mission is more important, but it never seemed like it.
Yeah.
This obviously is important to her.
Yeah, and it was the fake I don't love him,
Yeah.
but I love him. This is she's not even contemplating. She gives a little bit of like internal thought, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's really kind of hard to catch, and it's only up for a minute, and then she's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
She'll think about it. She's like, no, I got like other shit to do. Like
Yeah,
I
and I
got
love
time
that.
for this.
I love it. I love it.
I do too.
She's definitely like making sure she pays attention to the actual goals that she has set for
Mhm.
herself,
Mhm.
and that's what a badass does.
That is what a badass does.
Yeah.
She's like, no man, especially this fucking prince. She owns
I
him. What
know.
more does she need from him?
Exactly.
I don't need your heart. I need you to listen to my commands.
Do what I say, Prince.
They like butt it up a little bit to like bud their romance up,
Yeah.
and then she'll do something that counters that. Like, just it's not too far from here, but he'll like tell her, "I need you to stay back," and you think she'll linger, and
she
instead
doesn't.
she's like, "No, don't fucking tell me what to do," and
Yeah.
then she'll leave. And I'm like,
I love it.
"You're such a badass."
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's great. It's great. So yeah. So after he's just laying there and about. I think she has to go to a council meeting.
I think it's in the morning. I think they go to sleep
Like,
and they wake
after,
up.
Yeah.
and
And Carter doesn't go on any of these council meetings.
no, but that's work. Carter
Yeah.
doesn't
I don't do
work.
that. It's,
He's king for show. He doesn't
yeah,
do anything.
Yeah. So you don't care.
Jude rules his kingdom for him.
She does. She does. And they call her a puppet master most of the time
Mhm.
throughout this book. So yeah, she goes to the meeting, and the meeting consists of a bunch of people. An unseelie minister,
Mhm.
a seelie minister, her father,
Mhm.
a royal astrologer, minister of keys, and the grand fool.
The grand fool. I don't
Which
know.
is funny that the fool is part of
It
this.
is so random.
Because he does some fucking shit throughout the whole book while they're having these council
yeah,
meetings.
he does. It's a random thing. Like, why do you need the grand fool there?
I guess.
don't-
I mean, I feel like
to
that's
add
a,
entertainment.
it would be such a distraction. It's like having the TV on while you're in a war meeting.
Yeah,
Like-
that's not what you should be doing.
No.
You should be focused on your war meeting.
Yeah.
But okay.
Let me watch this episode of Friends real quick.
So she goes to this meeting. They are not happy to see her.
No.
They're again asking, where is Carden? Why can't the king do this? And she comes here. I speak with the king's voice because she's the fucking king.
Yeah, she is the king.
And they have their sort of, I love this moment because, so we have all of these main people here. They don't like her. They don't know how she got here. They don't know why she's here, not Carden. She's mortal. Maddox there, so that adds an extra other layer, but they really don't take anything she has to say seriously, and they begin talking about sort of, Carden's lack of, like, he's just drunk all the time, and he has connections to the land, being king, like magical, deep connections to the land, and him being drunk and aloof is causing issues within the land. Like, the people are becoming drunk for no reason, and they don't know why.
Yeah.
There's
There's storms, and
Mhm.
land is acting funny, and So it's also important to remember that when he was like stabbed or whatever, when the arrow went through his side, I guess the blood on the blankets and the sheets and started turning into flowers and earth.
Yes.
So like he is part of the land and the land is part of him. So he could draw power from it. And they try to tell him they try to tell Jude, don't you notice? We can't have a king that's like a fool because it's disrupting the land. It's disrupting our kingdom.
And the people.
People are starting to not understand. Some people don't understand why they're feeling this way, and it's because of his ties to the realm.
Yes. And then Maddox. I think before her and Maddox talk separately, though, she does try to tell them that she has information about Belkin and the queen, or the queen's next move, and they totally
they ignore her.
They ignore her. They're like, yeah, well, I think they asked where'd you get your information from, and she's like, I'm not going to tell you my sources.
Yeah.
And so then they sort of just ignore her and just go about talking about things as if she's not there.
No, they don't pay any attention to her, no mind. So she's fed up, and then the council kind of just goes, on their own way. And Maddox stays behind to talk to her and asks her, hey, have you talked to your sister? Or, you shouldn't be in solitude. You need people.
And this is their first conversation since...
Yeah.
Since the big event of book 1. And so he does say...
He kind of cares for her still. Well, he does care for her. He just pretty much says that you're my daughter, all this other stuff. And then he makes it a point to say, I'm sworn to an oath for the king, but you do not have any oaths. So you can pretty much do whatever it is you want.
Yeah.
He makes that important distinguish.
That she can still choose a different path if she so wants to.
And he says if you regret that move of what you've done, there's still time for you to come to like our side. And there's still there are games yet to play, is what he says. Yeah.
He also does say that he's proud of her in some weird twisted way because she bested him. Yeah. And so he's a little proud as like a dad about that and kind of what she did. I mean, she's look at her position. How could you not be proud of her, even if she fucked you over in the process?
He still doesn't see her as an equal though.
No.
So that's careful to note because that's why I feel like he's still kind-hearted towards her because he doesn't feel like she's an equal and he feels like he can still control her in a manner while bringing her to his side. So he's like, yes, you have power. You've shown me that you could do this. Maybe I underestimated you, but however, I still feel like you should come work for me. So he still sees her as somebody that is below him and not as an equal in her station. Even though she advises the king, he still does not see her as somebody who is an equal to his abilities.
Yeah, and even though the position that she has is even higher ranking than the Grand General's position, she outranks him, so they are not equal.
No, they're not. And she can, at any point in time, which you'll find out later, she could dismiss him if she wants to. Which we already kind of knew that because, like, she could have if she wanted to for treason. Just that alone. So the fact that he still stands there, he should be... I don't know. He should feel something good about that, but he obviously doesn't. He still feels like she should work for family.
Yep. Yeah, he's pulling on those family heartstrings.
Hard, and I think that's why he sends her sister.
Yes. And that's hard because it's a hard role for him to play because their family bond is really weak. Yeah. But that is why he sends in the sister because he knows that is really his only way in. They might have some sort of weird family bond, but it's not strong enough to
keep her
to win her over.
No, it's not.
So after that meeting, they go to King Eldrin's room because they're putting I'm not gonna get it right the second time because they're gonna put Carden back in there. So then she decides, okay, her and Baum are going to do a thorough search of the entire area to make sure this time that they catch all of the hidden passageways or whatever. And so while they're looking through all of these areas, she Jude finds like this crystal sphere, and she finds 2, or is it just the one?
I think it's 2 or 3 because I know there's separate events on each one, and I want to say there's up to 3 events that I could recall.
Oh, okay. I can only recall.
But it could be just one crystal and have 3 memories in them. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It could be. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
But I know that she does see a crystal. She doesn't say she sees many.
Okay,
So
maybe
it could
there's
be
just
one crystal with all these memories in it.
That makes sense.
I think that's what it is, honestly.
That makes more sense. That'd be weird to have like a collection of orb memories. There would be a lot.
And all your drawers, just start pulling out the drawers, all memories.
They're pretty cool though.
Yeah.
So, the first one is of...
I think it's Prince Dane as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what he's doing. I don't think that's really important either. It's just him it's for King Eldrin to like reminisce on.
Yeah.
And I want to say
there's only one that's really important, right? It's the
one so Prince Dane, and then there's another one with Prince Elwyn and Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
They're all little kids at that point, and then there's the one that is important. It's the one with Carden as a little boy, and I don't remember exactly what's in it, but I think he like runs up to a lady to try to get her attention.
Yeah, he's running up to a lady. I think, like, trying to be, I don't know, sweet or something, like, maybe tugging on her leg or something, and she's like, go away!
Yeah, very rude and just didn't want anything to do with him, and kind of, like, turns to the side and shuns him or whatever.
Yeah, and then I think he goes and does something, like, starts like, beating on something or whatever, and that gets her attention, and she's, like, laughing at it, and somebody else in the room, I think, is laughing at it as well, and also, Jude notes that he's wearing like a hand-me-down shirt or something, like it doesn't really fit him. So kind of just establishing the scene that Carden might have been raised in an environment that was not ideal.
Yeah, they just didn't care for him.
The form of love that he was receiving is not real love, right? Because he wanted love and he was shunned away from that love. So the way that he was able to gather attention and love was by being mean and cruel to whatever it was he was doing. So it was really sad.
It was really sad. I was pretty upset reading that. I was just like, wow, this is a little kid and a prince, mind you, and they just don't care whether or not he got any attention. So it's like, and also if you look at all the memories, I think that's why the other memories were important, and it was in a comparison to his. Mm-hmm. So if this is a memory for King Eldrin to have, and that's the only memory he has. Why would he choose that one on Carden? But then the other ones of his kids are happy.
And just like normal childhood memories.
Yeah, like they really are. They're happy. They're enjoying their company of their brothers and sisters. And that's the memories that Eldrin keeps. But he keeps this shitty one of Carden. And I feel like that is why the other memories were important. It's only to contrast.
To show.
Carden's. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that's why I said it doesn't really matter what's in it. All you know is the context of it is that those kids were happy in comparison to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. I think that's what was sad, is not just the memories, but that.
Yeah, you're happy to see your son
being miserable.
Being miserable, but then also what brings you joy is him inflicting pain on somebody else.
Yeah. Like that's a pretty shitty memory to keep.
But it explains a lot about Carden's personality and what he was doing in the book 1. And I guess he hasn't really been too cruel to anybody in this book.
In fact, it's almost like he's
at least up to this point.
Yeah, he's just allowing, Jude to make all the decisions, and he's kind of just sitting back and having a good time. So.
And he's just poking fun at her, but not in like an evil, malicious sort of way.
No,
he's just doing things almost despite her, but you're okay with it because she fucked him over. So it's like, but it's not out of the way, outwardly cruel like he was doing in book 1, where he was just fucking being mean to her for no reason.
Yeah. So after they're done, Baum and her are done looking through the house, they or the apartment or whatever, the room, they lay on King Eldrin's bed and just kind of have girl talk. They sit there and talk about Baum's experience in the mortal realm, because she's half mortal or something.
Is she? I thought it was just ghost.
It could be just ghost. I know she's in the mortal realm though. That's how she meets Roach. In the mortal realm, and that she talks about how she has feelings for Roach, and they had this thing together where they were working together, and then they got caught, and that's how Prince Dane found them and took them into his service.
But then I guess during the time when they were working together, Roach was always like protecting her and doing things to make her happy and make her smile, and so she felt for him. I was totally shocked by this.
Because they're like two different looking.
Yeah, I imagine Roach, I don't know if it's just his name, but he's a goblin.
Yeah.
He's got a gross nose. And I imagine her hideous. Like cute, and she's like a pixie. She's like
And that's what I think they even talk about, because Jude is like, what?
Yeah, Jude was shocked too.
Super confused, and then that's when Bob says, "Don't judge me," pretty much on this.
Mm-hmm.
This is why.
Yeah.
Because at first she's talking about how she has feelings for Roach, and then she explains why.
Mm-hmm.
As he was always there for her, he watched out for her, and they even got caught together.
Yes.
And so that they went into service with Dane together. So.
And then even saying that they're not in a position now where he needs to continue to make her happy or cheer her up, but he does, So
that's
it's
why
cute.
she is
unexpected.
Yeah, and I was like, I guess that's good. That's nice.
Yeah,
but weird.
Yeah, it's very weird, but okay.
So after this, there's talk of a banquet. I can't understand too much why there's a banquet. I just know there's a banquet, and at this banquet, Locke is sitting with Carden, and Nikki and June are having a conversation. They kind of have a conversation about Carden, and June is mocking Nikki by telling her how she tricked him in being his right hand. I don't know exactly why this banquet is taking place.
I don't remember this banquet.
Yeah,
why am I blanking on that?
it's like a weird thing that they kind of just go to, and I feel like it's only a setup to put them all together, because it's Locke, it's Carden, they're all there. And I don't know why. I think it's just something that...
Maybe it's just like...
I don't know.
Dinner.
I don't know. It's like a weird dinner. And then after that, Jude goes back to her room, and Taryn's there again. So, and this time Taryn's there with Tatterfell.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, because Tatterfell is now given to Jude by Maddox as like she can do the last bit of her service that Tatterfell had for Maddox. She's going to be doing it for
she transferred
Jude
that
now.
debt to Jude.
And Jude's like, I don't want this, you could just go. And Tatterfell took it as an insult. Like,
Yeah.
I am in his service for a reason. You don't get to tell me that my service is over, because I pledged myself to him for what he's done for me.
And I'm gonna
serve this out.
But Jude also takes note that this might be a spy. Like, she doesn't trust anybody. And Tatterfeld is her... raised her pretty much.
Yeah, and she's like, pretty much, I'm thankful for all the things you've done for me as a child, but you are Maddox.
Yeah.
You have love for Maddox. You did it for Maddox. You didn't do it for me. So she's smart enough to understand that, and I would feel this way about about Taryn and Tatterfell too.
Yeah, I would too.
So at this point, Jude is like, "Why are you really here, Taryn? Like, what are you really here for?" And it's because Taryn is just like, I don't want Locke to be the master of revels. Can you get that away? Take that out of
Can
there.
you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can
you like make my husband be less of a dick? It's like, sorry, honey, my husband's a dick. He's not changing.
Can you stop him from getting himself temptations and all of this? Like, girl, no. Get your man under control. That's not my job.
She can't count on Jude, who's already doing everything, now to control the husband, because they're not married yet, to control the guy that she's going to marry.
Who already done fucked her over too.
Yeah, come on. Why
no.
You're asking too much of your sister at this point, who you do nothing for.
Yeah, but of course crazy. Jude also does not want him to be master of revels.
She does not either, but I think at this point she's just like, if I go back and tell Carden he can't do this, this is going to be too obvious that I'm controlling him.
And it's going to seem so petty too, because it's not even a real reason.
No.
It's just because I don't like him.
Yeah.
And Jude is much too smart and much too cunning to make a move like that out of just pettiness.
It's a waste of time. Even though she would love to have Locke away, it's like, this is one of those small things where she's got to let Carden have.
Yeah.
Because even though Locke's a pain in the ass, this is what it's come to. She kind of has to let this one go. And she pretty much just has to... I think she lies to Taryn too and says she's going to talk to Carden about it. But it's not, in my opinion, it's not so much as a lie, because she says, I'm going to lie to her and tell her that. But I don't think it's so much as a lie, because I think she does kind of like tell Carden, can you ease up on allowing Locke to do a whole bunch of shit and let my sister, when my sister is by his side, to have him calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
At least give her that. And I think Carden said, yeah, okay, sure.
So,
is that a command?
Yeah, I know.
He gives her that bullshit all the time. Is that a command?
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
And she's just like, no. But you know she wants it to be
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But she is smart in picking and choosing when she's actually issuing commands and when she's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have this talk, and then she does say that she will go talk to her. Does she go right then to go talk to him? Yeah, she meets with him in his new room.
Yeah, she goes to his new room, and they have a conversation about lots of things, her and Carden. Mostly about how there's going to be this festival, or not festival, is it a party?
The Hunter's Moon celebration.
Yeah, and of course, now that Locke is the master of Revel, you know, he's planning that.
This is his first party, essentially, that he's throwing, so it's got to be a big one.
Yeah, and this comes from the time when she's pretty much telling, hey, just make sure he's respectful of Taryn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, this is my job, why? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with them.
I also agree with him. This is not his responsibility.
No.
This is not even Jude's responsibility.
No, it's nobody's responsibility but the two people who are in the relationship
mm-hmm.
who choose to be ignorant about it. So whatever.
Well, it's fucking Taryn.
Yeah,
like, get your man under control.
Or don't let him be your man.
Or don't let him be your man. Like, God.
Move on. You don't marry him.
Shit.
Red flags everywhere. Red flags. He is like covered in red flags, and she's just loving it. She loves the color red, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what this man has got that he can pull all these girls. I don't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, so after that, they have that conversation. He says the Hunter's Moon is tomorrow, and Jude tells him, hey, the Queen of the Sea. the chicken of the sea. The chicken of the sea. The Queen of the Sea.
Chick of the sea.
Chick of the sea. It's pretty much watching you, and he goes, I love it. He's like, I'm always being watched. Like, what's news?
You cannot shock this man.
No, it's funny to me. I love them together,
mm-hmm.
but not together. I love them when they're in the same room together.
Yeah.
I do not like them as a couple. I don't want them to be a couple. I love just who they are
mm-hmm.
together in the
mm-hmm.
same room because they give that back and forth that's just so funny to me.
And they're both, like, one is uptight. No, she's not really uptight, but she's more, like, direct to the point, fierce, and he's just, like, blasé.
Yeah, and fucking around with her.
Fucks around with her all the time. He doesn't give a shit.
And she's just pretty much like, oh my God, just fucking stop it.
Just focus. Like,
but he's
they're a great
clever,
team.
though, when he's talking.
He's really clever.
Dang.
I think people do the same to him that they do to her. They just consistently underestimate him because he plays this aloof sort of
he's
fool
super smart.
Who's spoiled and doesn't give a shit about anything, but he is super smart and super clever.
Yes, and he uses his stupidity to get what he
mm-hmm.
wants out of it. That's what's great. So,
mm-hmm.
yeah, so they have that conversation, and Jude remarks that she keeps on doing this thing where she's just like, hey, if you like being king, how about you let me control you longer?
Yeah, let's extend this year and a day. Let's do it to 7 years. Yeah. Can I have? She's really working it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way on God's green earth is somebody gonna be like, yeah, I will lose my free will to you for 7 more years.
Yeah, hell no.
Jude, no.
Yeah, of course he says no. And then there's conversation of how I don't know if she's telling him or he's telling her, but the council apparently wants to make another party and have Locke throw it for the blacksmith Grimson.
Yes.
Just to show their, like, gratefulness for what he's going to do for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me, throwing a whole party for a blacksmith.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get, because he's a man, he makes some stuff.
Yeah.
So you really want him on your side.
Yeah. So I don't know if at this point if if there's a whole thing with the blacksmith, if they know about it. I don't recall, but I know that they do say that they want to have a party to make him feel welcomed, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Jude leaves Carden's room, and she starts walking around the palace, and she sees the former advisor.
Yes.
Who is a poet, by the way.
Yeah, he was I
think he was also the lover.
He was also the lover, too.
I think they said it in the first book.
They did. Mm-hmm.
So he's this very hippie-ish kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine he's got long hair, knotted up, just doesn't care, and speaks in, like, poem prose type wording, and always got to be very deep,
And he's mortal.
Yeah, he's mortal.
Mm-hmm.
So she sees him, and he's being very weird, and she goes up to him and pretty much just goes up to him, because he makes a comment, I'm surprised you didn't come to me earlier for advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she was going to him for advice.
No.
I think she just approached him, pretty much just maybe ask how he's doing or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does give her advice, though. The only advice, though, he gives her is a very simple thing, is he juggles, and he tells her pretty much,
learn to juggle better than I did.
yeah, and then as he's telling the story, he's like, you can only keep two things in your hand at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is in the air.
And as you add more, you have to go faster.
Yeah.
You have to be better, and then I think
eventually he just lets it all fall.
and that's when he says,
so yeah,
be better at juggling than me, which is another callback to the theme of the book, which is retaining power. You best juggle better than he did to retain that power, though. I mean, we don't know their story, but I'd be curious to know what kind of power he had.
Yeah,
that
because
he felt he lost.
He doesn't seem like the person that would have power.
Yeah, and also he was there all the way to the end of the first king, or the previous king's reign. Like, you were there the entire time, so.
Yeah. And nobody did a thing to him. He lived, so how much power could he have possibly had? They didn't feel him a threat if they let him live.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting to me as well, that he's still prowling around. In the palace, mind you, doing some weird shit. They let him come and go wherever he wants.
Yeah, he's just sort of a member of the, I don't know, there's just so many people that just live in the palace. So he's one.
Yeah.
And then after that, the prep for the Hunter's Moon.
Is that evening, I think, or like the next, because he said it's tomorrow. So the next day, they're prepping for the Hunter's Moon, and she's like paying attention to Carden while they're all prepping, and she sees that Carden's wearing her ring she stole.
Her ruby ring.
Yeah.
That he stole from her.
Yeah.
It's on his like pinky finger or
something.
Yeah,
he's just like using his
talking
hands.
with his hands to really show it.
Right in front of her too. And she notices, she's like, whatever.
Yeah.
She just lets him have it. Whatever. Like his little token, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and he talks to her. I don't know if he's in private or whatever.
I think they're sort of just maybe like off to the side. They're having a conversation, and he likens himself to the Corn King, while little ants or grasshoppers kind of gather his corn for him, and he just sits there. And I think she says like, "Oh, but then you'll be starved for the winter." Or something
and
like
he
that.
says, "I don't. Why would I starve if they're doing this all for me?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she pretty much just like kind of like blows him off, and he tells her, "You should stay home, little ant."
Yeah, you ought not be here.
Yeah.
And of course she's
like, "No, come stay."
Like, why? Carden, you need to give a better warning.
Yeah.
And you just ought not be here tonight. Like, of course she's gonna be. Her sister's here.
Yeah.
She needs to watch over you.
Well, no, her sister doesn't go. Her sister's not coming.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
She's the only mortal that's coming.
Right. Her sister is not there.
Yeah.
But he's there. Like, she's the hand of the king. She's his puppet master. She's not gonna just like leave you for a night.
And then he insults her by calling her an ant.
Yeah.
After he just got done saying all these little ants do everything for me. And he tells her, "You ought not be her little ant."
Yeah.
So
he's not wrong, because she is
one she's supposed to be.
She is doing all of the work, and he is just sitting there. So, but yes, it is again one of those compliments that are
a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, that he's so great at.
He's really good at them.
And of course she ignores him, and she's gonna stay there, and then he sort of goes back up and sits on his throne chair situation that they've made out there, and then Locke comes out and says,
pretty much let the party begin.
Let the party begin.
Yeah.
And the main event of the party is this game called the Queen of Mirth.
Yeah, before that though, Grimson does come up to him and give him an earring.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much tells him, "This is my first thing I've made."
Gives to Carden.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what this earring is. I don't think it said what the earring does, but it's his first magical item to the king, and I really want to know what it is. But just so you know, you never find out in this book.
Yeah, not in this book. We don't know what it is.
And we don't even know if it's the next book. Honestly, I didn't read the next book yet, so I don't even know if you find out at all what this earring is.
I'm sure.
I hope so.
I have high hopes in this, or high hopes. I have a lot of. No, yeah, high hopes. I have a lot of high hopes for this author. She has not left, I don't think, much dangling in the wind that I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I have not been disappointed at all. So I'm assuming this is important.
He's gonna like rip it out at one point.
I feel like it's important. I really do. I feel like there's something important about this earring, because it doesn't tell you what the magic is. It's just, this is my first magical item, and he gives it to the king. Mm-hmm. So he does that, and
it's weird that he would do that so publicly too.
Yeah.
Like that, if that's your first magical gift and it was of huge significance.
Exactly.
Maybe you think that you'd want to put it, I don't know, in private.
That's why I feel like it's something that's either important bad or important good.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel, or it could even just have been a gesture that is what was important. The fact that he did it in front of everybody, I don't know.
Yeah.
But while this is all happening, Jude is like meeting and networking pretty much with the people she made all these like promises,
that's right, these promises to. Yeah. When...
So the Court of Termites is there. Do I want to call her Dumachi, but I don't know what the hell her name is.
Dulamara.
Dulamara. She's like the commander for the Court of Termites.
Yeah.
Lord Royman.
Yeah.
And so pretty much they're like, oh, we know your fucking boy king is acting up. We hear rumors of the stuff that, and they were talking about him almost killing the good girl.
Yeah, because everybody else, the whispers and the rumors from everybody else is that he attempted to kill her, the consort that almost got shot with a bolt. And then I think also alludes to like, oh, well, we still have, nobody's forgotten about the debt, so just you wait, we're going to call in our debt, because again, from book 1, as she was trying to amass people to support somebody's ascent to the throne, as she made a promise to this particular king.
Lord Royman.
Yeah, so he has at any point to call in his debt of equal or lesser value.
Yeah, and that they
throning a king.
Yeah, and they could only what they're able to do, or something. There was another thing on that.
I think it was what she was capable of.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the games begin.
Yes.
For the queen. I like this part so much, so I'm like ready to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then Locke says, "Let the games begin." Apparently, there's this game called the Queen of Mirth, where you pick one mortal girl or one. I don't know if they specified a girl.
It's a mortal.
Is it?
Yeah.
So they pick a mortal girl. Well, I guess it's the queen. So it would have to be a girl.
Yeah.
They pick a mortal girl. They get her drunk off fairy wine. And they give her all of these compliments to make her feel good. And then they dress her in rags, but tell her that it's a beautiful ball gown. Essentially like
glamour
they
her.
glamour her into thinking she's like amazing in this ballroom, and
it's so sad.
And then they joke with, it's just to poke fun at her. It's to put her up on a pedestal, make her look like a fucking idiot, and then everyone just backhand compliments, essentially. Like, oh, you're so beautiful, look at this dress, and it's like
that's
rags.
so fucked up.
It's so fucked up, and it's so weird. Like, this is what's funny. Like, I don't know why that's
a bunch
funny.
of fucking bullies.
They're just a bunch of bullies.
Yeah, just in the same room together. Anyways, they, not only that, they, like, make them dance until they can't, like, they pretty much to death almost.
Yeah, because that's the thing about the mortals dancing in fairy realms is that they cannot stop themselves. Like, the music has to stop or somebody has to pull them out of a trance, essentially, is what they get pulled into. But also, it's a great example of how much the folk just do not care about the mortals. No. Like, they're just a joke to them.
They are a huge joke to them.
They don't have any sympathy for doing something like this. Like, this is a whole established game that the kingdom plays.
And it's like, it's well known, too. It happens every year. Mm-hmm. It's so ridiculous. It's so rude and mean and just, ugh. Yeah, so after that, like, Locke says, oh, let's crown our queen. And of course, there's only one mortal in the room.
Mm-hmm. And everyone stops to look at Jude.
Yeah, that's so fucked up. He's like, come on, Jude, come up here, get your prize.
Is the fucking advisor to the king.
Yeah.
You don't do this with high-ranking officials.
And Carden, like, pretty much Locke looks over at Carden, and Carden's just like, yeah, sure, let's do this.
Let's see how this plays.
Yeah, so she gets up there, and they try to dress her. Or they start doing things to her, and then they ask Carden, how does she look? And I love his response. Mm-hmm. So he says, I have too often been troubled by dreams of Jude. Her face features prominently in my most frequent nightmare. Mm-hmm. And he says something after, and I cannot remember, about how her facial features are beautifully unique.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he's saying the truth, but they think that he's mocking her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's not. Those are real things that he feels for her.
But also, they don't just give her a dress. They don't just put a dress on her.
No, they remove it.
This girl removes it.
Yeah.
She, like, looks eyes at Carden and pulls off her dress.
Yeah. And she's just, like, bare naked.
She's got some balls.
Yeah, she got bra and panties. And she's just like, fuck this shit. I love it. I love that confidence. There's something great about a person with that much confidence. They're like, fuck this.
She's like, you want to play?
Yeah.
Let's fucking play, Carden.
I love it.
And of course, a reminder, she cannot be glamored. So this that's going on is not like, it's not a real game. No. She's 100% aware of what's going on. She's not glamored in any way. So, which is lovely because she's not in control of the situation, but she is in control of the situation. And that look to Carden when she's doing it beautiful. Because then she takes control later when they're having their back and forth about, like,
when they're dancing.
When they're dancing. So I don't remember who.
Well, they pretty much just like, come on, let's start dancing. So they grab her onto the dance floor, and she's trying super hard to control herself because even though she can't be glamored, she's not. Mm-hmm. She can be. She's still susceptible to a lot of things. Like in the first book, the food, and then dancing is the other. So she pretty much screams, cease. Like it took all of her to like be able to do that. So she does. They stop the music, and she's like, "Hey, I want the king to join me." So she forces Carden onto the dance floor with her, and that's when they had that talk about pretty much you're enjoying this, aren't you? He's like, "Well, you forced me to be king when I didn't want to." So this is a little bit of
payback.
Yeah.
For that, and he doesn't say he's enjoying it.
No, but he kind of he's enjoying the fact that she is giving him this anger. He feeds off her anger in a way that makes him feel like he's alive.
Yes. And also, to be fair to both her and him, she also makes note of the fact that he told her to leave. He warned her in the subtlest way that he could. Well, I mean, he could have straight out fucking told her, but he was like, he gave her a choice. You should probably not be here.
Yeah.
And she didn't take it. I like that she recognizes that, yeah, he gave her a choice and I'm here, but it's still fucked up that he allowed it to happen. But as, you kind of take a look at the situation, Locke was doing this very purposely because Locke is trying to also find out what control she has over him, and that's why he very specifically asked him, how does she look, because he can't lie. So it was a very smart thing of Locke. Say what you want about him, he's still very smart.
Yes, he is very smart and cunning. I mean, what he did was shitty, but like he planned it pretty well. That we couldn't even as readers figure out what the fuck was going on.
I thought he was just being an asshole.
Yeah, I did too. And in fact, at some point you would think that he was the nicest of the group when he was actually the biggest fucking jerk of the group. That was a good twist in that manner where you were able to see a character change.
Yeah, because you're so focused on Valerian being the worst of it because he was so in your face about it, literally trying to kill her, that then you have this White Knight, Locke, who's there, but it's more than just, he deceived in this sort of aspect. He is like menacing and a turn of a character that you wouldn't expect. He's marrying
her sister.
Yeah, and he gets worse. He gets worse. This isn't the worst of it.
He's a piece of shit. So she dances with Carden. They have that exchange.
She tells him notably, because it'll come up later, that she hates him.
She does. He does. And it's a very important thing. Like I said, her anger towards him makes him feel alive. So when she says, I hate you, he's just like super in love with that.
Like,
he's like, oh, thank you.
It's almost like it's Wrath and Amelia over here.
I feel like this is the Wrath and Amelia that we should have gotten.
100%.
With more power, because they would have been more powerful. But like, that I thought that too when I was listening to that. But so Jude pretends to keep going with the shenanigans of the night. And Carden actually ends up pretty much tells them, okay, we're done here. She has the freedom to go wherever she pleases now. If she wants to enjoy the night or go home, that's up to the queen.
Yes.
She's the queen for the night.
Yes.
So, that's... I think that's when she decides she wants to take a breather. I don't know if she wants to go home yet. I know she's like off on the beach or something.
Yes.
I imagine her in her tattered gown and her shitty crown, sitting on the beach just like, oh, this is fucking stupid. I hate this place.
Well, she's upset. I mean,
she is.
She was just thoroughly embarrassed, even though she took control of that situation.
It's still a shitty situation.
It's a shitty situation that Carden allowed to happen, though I don't know how much he could have done. But it's a shitty situation that Locke is just fucking there poking at her. So she's sulking on the beach in her tattered dress and crown.
This reminds me of another book, but we'll we'll go over that later. She is pretty much starting to see things in the water, and it's kind of, alerting her to possibly like take a really interested look into it. And she sees that like the merfolk are coming, or the Selkies, or whatever you want to call them, are coming out of the water, ready to what appears to be, I think they're in fine clothes, but still looking like they're going to attack at the same time.
Yes.
So there's a massive amount of them. And she's just starting to run to the guard, and she tells the guard, protect the king, protect the king. And they go to the king's side, and here come the merfolk going towards the king to pretty much have a conversation. A sing-song conversation.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation. Right in the middle of this fucking celebration. Like,
yeah.
What a time to party crash.
Yeah, Carden tells him, hey, just come stay. Don't ever say that I don't even be kind to the uninvited. I love the way he talks.
I love the way he talks, too.
Such great, like, lines that he says.
Yes, he's so sly.
Yeah, oh, love it, love it.
Same.
So after, they kind of say something to him along the lines of, our queen has a message, but the queen's not there.
No.
I think it's some girl that comes out of the water. I didn't take note of what her sing-song, because she sings it. I didn't take note of what her sing-song was, but pretty much what it ends up being is that he has to marry somebody from the sea, and it's heavily implied that it's Nikki.
Yeah.
Because it's the daughter of the queen. But they said that if he doesn't marry, then the land will have to fight the sea.
Yeah. It's something to the it's the effect of he has to marry the princess.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't, then like blood of his line will be shed, which is assumed to be Oak.
That's right.
Well, that's what Carden immediately assumes it to be Oak.
He does.
Which I didn't assume. I thought he was talking about
the
war between him. Like they were gonna shed his blood.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they just meant they were gonna kill him. I didn't know that they were gonna go that far.
But he thinks Oak, and he says Oak, and that's just where they go with it. But
yeah.
But then he accepts it, and he invites them to stay, and then he tells everybody that he wants to get the council together.
Yeah, he tells Jude. So it's an order.
He orders Jude.
Which is not one of the things he's supposed to be doing. He tells her, he's like, go get the council together. And so like he tells everybody, yeah, keep partying, and then he's like, he's gonna go to the council. This is one of the first meetings in a very long time he's going to.
Let alone gathering together.
Yeah,
like
on the night of the Hunter's Moon. And
he orders her, but not like magically orders her. He just tells her, go get this. He turns into a king out of nowhere. He's like, get this, let's go. We need to go have a conference about this.
That, like,
it's so nice. You can see, you can see that he is really a king.
Yeah.
And when times get severe, he can snap in and out of that, like, sassiness, and, like, get shits done. So he assembles the council. Well, he goes. Jude is to go get Maddox and, like, somebody else, or...
So what happens is he tells the living council to be assembled, and while Jude's getting that together, she goes to her room and she sees a note from Maddox.
That's right.
So she goes to the war room, or whatever room that is, the strategy room or the council room, before everybody else does. And Maddox's already there playing with his little chess pieces. And these chess pieces are important because Vivi used to say these were his toys. And these little pieces are of the people he believes to be important to be on the board. And she now notices there's a new piece, and it's her.
It's her piece.
So almost like she feels like, oh,
I'm
important to be on the board.
I'm on the board now in this game of princes, and because Locke says that to her in the first book that she's playing a game of princesses and war. And so there she is on the board, finally being taken seriously.
Yeah.
And even I think, says right here too, right, that nobody else was listening to her. Maybe not here, but maybe in the council.
Oh, he says it. He says,
here.
You guessed rightly that I would not see your true potential until you bested me. It would be better for both of us to stop fighting each other and focus on our common interest, power.
Yes. And I think he says here that he and everybody else ignored her when she gave this warning that the queen was making moves, the chick of the sea was making moves. And so he kind of says, I'm sorry, now I'm going to take you seriously.
And he says in the beginning of the meeting as well, because they're mocking her, pretty much saying all this stuff. And he's like, Maddox is like, well, what's your opinion on this? And they were all like, why does she have an opinion? And first of all, she's an advisor to the king. Of course she should have an opinion. But they don't like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, she did get this information to us, and we all ignored her. And they were like, oh, yeah, fine.
Yeah, we could have been well prepared with strategies instead of scrambling like we are now.
So Carden is still lounging in the war room, by the way. And they start discussing it. And when they discuss the part with the blood, he brings up, hey, this could be Oak, out of nowhere. He's just like, this could be Oak that they're trying to go after. And I think that's the first time they do realize, oh, shit, they could be going after Oak. And that's important to note, too, because that's when the thought process starts to be thought that it could be Oak. And then after that, they kind of zone in on making sure that they think and want to protect Oak
Yeah.
from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think of any other possible scenario other than
that it's Oak.
That it's Oak.
That she's threatening. That if he doesn't marry Nikki, they're gonna kill Oak or take Oak.
Take the Oak to crown a king or whatever. They said shed blood, and he just immediately thinks that it's Oak's in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they have this whole.
And then Carden orders her again.
Another order
to go get Nicasia or Nicasia, whatever, Nikki. So she goes and she gets her and she brings her. And then they have Carden and her have a little back to back.
Yeah.
Essentially, she's saying, "Yeah, I didn't necessarily know exactly what my mom's plan was, but this makes sense, as it does, for them to be reunited and for them to be married." And she even says, like, we don't have to be happy together, but we will be legends together if we unite, and that's good enough. And he's not really into that.
No, and when she says legends, she says legends don't need to be concerned with being happy. They just need to concern themselves with being legends. And so, you know, when he doesn't want that, she just like steps out of the room on that thought, and he's just like, ew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like thoroughly disgusted by her thought process in that. So he gets really mad and just kicks everybody out and tells June to stay.
Well, because then but before that, everybody starts talking about the plans.
Yeah.
Like without him.
Yeah.
Like just deciding what they're gonna do, and he's like, I'm not gonna stand here. Well, if you guys are gonna continue to talk about my decisions or what should be done as if I'm not here, then go elsewhere. And
do this out of my sight. Then you're gonna do it anyway.
Exactly. And so then kicks everybody out, and then I love, as I alluded earlier, I love this part because he commands her. He says, "Jude, stay. Everybody out. Jude, stay." And this is the moment where you think she's gonna stay, but not Jude.
Yeah.
Jude won't give into it. She says to him, like, "Don't command me again."
Yeah.
Like,
if you ever command me again, the shit that Locke does will be nothing compared to the shit I do.
Yeah.
Because but pretty much she's gonna say, I'm gonna make a fucking scene.
Yeah.
Because he's ordering people around in front of her. He's ordering her around in front of people. Mm-hmm. So she's pretty much saying, you want to see drama, do that shit again.
Do it again,
and
bitch.
I will be worse than Locke will ever be.
I love this so much because, again, it's that thing where you would think in every other book, this is where you would stay, the woman, the girl would stay
and
because...
be like, oh, I've got so much stuff to expose to you.
Yeah, I'm like,
no, she's like,
this is where you, like, kindle and get together and more of that. Nope, not Jude. She's like, don't fucking order me.
Yeah.
Goodbye. I
also remember that they aren't in the war room. They're actually in his chambers.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, too. She's like, I ain't fucking staying with you in your fucking chambers. I'm getting the hell out of here. Fuck, you can't order me.
Don't you fucking order me. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I love her so much.
Leaves.
I love her.
So when she leaves, she goes to the Court of Shadows just to contemplate life at this point.
Yeah.
Because now...
a lot of shit has happened.
Yeah. She's the Queen of Mirth still. Like, this is still the same night.
This is the same. This is like... maybe an hour later?
Because after she was Queen of Mirth, she went straight to the beach, and then that happened. I wouldn't even say an hour. I would say within maybe 30, 40 minutes, and being into the war room, and now, it was crazy.
Which makes that exit for her more of something that I enjoyed, because they had a moment when they were dancing. Like, the things that they were... and what he said about her.
Yeah.
That she's beautiful, and that he can't stop... she haunts his dreams. Like, all of this was very romantic leaning. And then so for it to not pan out in this room when you think it's going to because of Jude, I love it.
I do too. So she's like contemplating life, figuring out things, figuring out strategy. And I think she comes up with the decision right then and there to find out what the hell Belkin was trying to talk to Carden about. Yeah. So I think she tells, is it Bomb? It's, it is Bomb. Yeah. She asked Bomb, like, hey, let's work on getting a prisoner, and part of our plan to be able to get messages to and from Belkin without, I think it was still kind of like a spy thing. Like, the messengers they were going to pull wasn't going to be somebody they knew was going to talk to Belkin. It was going to be an unintentional spy.
Because they want to see... what information leaks to Belkin?
Yes. And they don't specifically make that clear at that point. They just talk about a spy. And the only person she thought at the time was that lady that grabbed her by the ankle and said, hey, I know your mom. Yeah. So she talks to Bomb and tries to figure out a way to get that lady to Jude, so that they can have a conversation with her to kind of make an unintentional spy.
Yes.
And so Bomb works with Volciber, the guard that they had in their care before.
Yeah, the one that they've acquired.
Yeah, to bring that lady to the Court of Shadows.
Yes.
And I think that's when they do. I think they go and do retrieve Asha. That's her name, Lady Asha, because that's when Bomb says, "I know who you're talking about."
Yes.
That's Lady Asha, Cardin's mom.
Cardin's mom.
It blew my fucking mind.
Cardin's mom's been shackled up in the fucking the forgotten tower.
Yeah,
Tower of Forgetting.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What?
And on top of that, she realizes that now that she thinks about it, that same lady is the lady in the image of the memory crystal.
Who he was like trying to get affection from, and that she shooed away.
So it's like, they don't say why. They only say something about, when they bring Lady Asha, they're kind of a conversation. And in the conversation, Jude's kind of reminiscing about what Bomb said about why she was in the prison. She was in the prison for, I don't know why. I can't remember.
I don't think we learn here.
She does. Lady Asha she kind of tells her story, but only a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then Jude's like, oh yeah, she's leaving this out. She's leaving that out because Bomb apparently told her some things about why Lady Asha is there. It was very brief. It was more like she did something to help a consort of the king die or something. So I wonder if she was part of the reason
that's right. Yeah.
for Oak's mom dying. They don't say, but that it kind of implied that she was part of one of the consort's deaths. So
yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and that was about it. So Lady Asha pretty much says, I just want my freedom, and I don't want Cardin to know that. And
don't let him know.
Yeah, and
then I think she gives a little bit of a conversation about Jude's parents or Jude's mom.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of a conversation there because Jude says to her, like, I don't want to hear about love stories and nonsense.
No, she don't give a shit about that.
No.
I want to know actual information on what you have.
Yeah.
She's like, you're coming to the wrong person if you're trying to come at me with, like, nostalgia. She don't care for that shit. That's typical Jude stuff, too. That's what I love about her. She doesn't care about that shit. She's like, first of all, her parents weren't really it wasn't in her life very long. And the fact that she already knew a little bit of her parents, I think she got that reminiscing information and stuff from her dad that she got, and I think that meant more than anything. She's got a knife from her sword from her dad. She doesn't care what this lady in a jail cell has to say. She doesn't care. So she pretty much tells her, Lady Asha ends up saying, well, fine, I got something. Because Jude says, if you don't have anything for me, then I see you used to, I'm going to put you back.
You're useless.
So I need something. Tell me something that's going to let me think about using you. And she goes, well, when your mom was pregnant with Viv, a hag came to see her and pretty much told her along the lines of that any child Eva, her mom, will be stronger of a weapon than anything that Justin, her dad, can forge. That was interesting because she didn't say...
She said a child. Yeah. Didn't say Viv.
Yeah.
Also, I would never have thought it was Viv.
I immediately would have thought Jude.
Immediately it's Jude. Like, you have to, because she's a fucking fiercest weapon in this book right now. There's no way it's anybody but Jude.
So I'm wondering if this hag is the same hag that was pretty much throughout this whole book so far.
Yeah, I was about to say, because we meet her again and they have a little moment.
Yeah.
So it must be the same hag.
I think it's the same
But also,
hag.
I think what's notable here is I think Jude's mother thought that it was the current baby that she had.
Yes.
Because that would make sense, right? Because we're in the fairy world, you have a fairy baby. Why would it be the mortal? What would especially since she got out, she would never have thought that it was going to be a mortal child.
Yeah, and she actually, one of the pretenses of her leaving were to protect the baby.
Viv, because she thought that was going to be the greatest weapon.
Yeah, and so when she was leaving it was because of that.
But the note on that is that she says Justin could forge, so he couldn't forge it, but his offspring essentially was the greatest weapon he could forge.
Yeah. Yeah,
if
you think about it.
If you think about it. So I like that part. But yeah, essentially she sends her back anyways and says, sends her back to the prison.
Yeah,
like,
sends her back to the tower. Well, because she's like, I'm going back to the tower after all this, and she's like, well, you got food,
comforts.
You got this, you got that. Now just go back until I'm ready for you. Yeah,
because that was information, but I mean, like, that's not necessarily what she was looking for. You're just giving her, like, a prophecy.
No, she don't care about that. Like, she could have said anything. But yeah, so as she's taking it back, Roach is just like, hey, you like this, don't you? You like being able to control people and
playing
puppet
games
them
with
around.
us.
And she goes, she's like, not everybody or something like that. And he's like, well, I guess you would do it with mortals too, but you're practiced in us and our ways. So that was kind of, and she's like, pretty much telling him, well, is that like, do you see that as bad? He's like, I don't see it as an insult.
Yeah,
Pretty much complimenting her that she's very slick, and that's true.
She is, that she is actually using the folk to her benefit consistently. I mean, shit, look at where she is. Look at the position she's in.
Yeah, I think she's just a fucking rock star.
I know. We're girl crushing hard over here.
I love her. I love her. She's my favorite. She's my favorite. So after this, I think they have another council meeting. And they just debate back and forth about whether Nikki and Carden are going to actually marry. And that's
I love that the council is deciding this.
Yeah.
Not the king. I mean, the king has said his piece. The king does not care about being legendary to marry his ex-girlfriend, who I assume cheated on him with Locke.
Oh, she did. Oh, and also Carden did say something to Kasia before she walked out the door. He told her that she needs to go back to her mom, and if she ever threatens Carden again, she will end up having a dead daughter, not a bride.
Yes, or that it'll be his prisoner.
Oh yeah, sorry, a prisoner, not a bride. Her daughter will be a prisoner, not a bride. And I thought that was great. So so she was sent back to talk to her mom about her message. And Nikki was like, sometimes my mom could be straightforward and mean and blunt, but that's not, I think you're missing the message.
Yes.
She just wants us to be married. And it's like, no, she also said that blood will be spilled. So,
this wasn't like a, hey, should we do this? This was like, you do this or you die.
Yeah, so come on, Nikki.
Like, also, I love this, like, fantasy underworld situation. Like, the fact that she just, like, goes into the underwater like it's fucking Little Mermaid over here.
Nikki just goes back to tell her mom a message. Like, okay,
she just gets her, slips on her little fin legs and just goes down to the water, comes back up. I love this.
It's wonderful. So, so in this meeting, they're talking about whether or not Nikki will go back to her mom, have that conversation, whether Carden will actually marry. And then Maddox just comes out and says, hey, we should make Oak bait.
Yeah,
he's all about that. Well, he obviously wants to protect him at the same point. He's like, it's going to happen anyways. He's a general of war. So he's like, it's going to happen anyways. We might as well make it the safest, ideal situation where we can control it.
Yes.
And I get that. I understand that. I just feel like, dude, come on. Like, you're just like, let's go to war. Let's bait them.
And the thing is that they're pretty much preparing for war. Because
they are.
Carden has literally said, I'm not going to marry her,
So it makes sense for this to be a thing.
Yeah, that they assume it's going to be Oak, so then now it's time to prep for what their next move is going to be when Carden officially declines the betrothal invitation. And so Maddox does say that they have like 3 options, or I don't think they give the 3 options here, right? Because she doesn't want to do it.
Not yet. She doesn't want to do it. She's angered about it, but she kind of like understands, but she hasn't come to acceptance of it yet.
Yeah, she doesn't accept it yet, but and I think she just outright no.
Yeah, she's just angry.
Nope.
So after that meeting, that was just the way the meeting went. After that, Jude gets 2 messages. One from Vivi saying, hey, by the way, Maddox said that Oak will be here in like a couple weeks. Yes. So he thinks it's a few, like, because the wedding isn't for a little bit.
Yes.
So he thinks it's a couple weeks. And no, Jude gets a message from Vivi like that day right after the council meeting saying, hey, we want to come back tomorrow. Come get us.
Come get us, please.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So she got that, and then Carden is summoning her.
Again. to his room.
To the throne room.
To the throne room.
I love this part. I love it.
Summoning her.
Yeah. So she goes to the throne room, and I love this part. So, like, when she gets there, people are still reveling and having a good time. Locke is there. And on top of that, there's 2 people arguing. This isn't really important, but I think it's important to show Carden.
I do too.
As a king. And he's starting to make decisions.
And he's a good king.
Yeah, in my opinion, because the decisions... Okay, so Jude makes most of the big decisions. Carden makes a lot of the little bullshit decisions. Yeah. And he's actually using these moments to make really good kingly decisions. So there's 2 people arguing over a stolen musical instrument.
Lute?
A lyre? A musical instrument. I imagine it as a harp. I don't know if that's true. I think of this little bitty harp there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It could be a flute. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so they're arguing over it to the king, and Locke is present, and Locke is being his typical bullshit asshole self, and Cardan is like, hey, you both play. I'll figure out who the better of you are, because it's not about... Art isn't about who deserves it. It's about who actually can play it.
Yeah, because essentially the two people, like, stole it from each other.
Yeah.
Like, they kept stealing it back and
yeah.
forth for whatever justification reasons. He
Yeah.
heard both the reasons. His way to solve it was whoever played it the best then deserves it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jude is seeing this and watching this. And so I guess one's playing right now. And Jude goes up to Cardan while Locke is standing beside him. And Locke is starting to... He's saying some whatever bullshit. I can't remember.
To her, yeah, I don't know either.
And Jude's like, go, get out of here. And he's like, no, I think I'll stay. And Cardan's like, no, I didn't call her here for your amusement.
Yeah, for your pleasure.
So, yeah.
I called her here for mine.
Yeah. And Locke is like, well, you are a very ungenerous friend then, because that would have been my day. If you would have made my day, if you would have just let me come here while we would have antagonized her. But no, Locke leaves.
He's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, go away. I was about to say, he's like a child, but he is like 17
Yeah,
or something, but goddamn.
They are really young. So she, as she's talking to Cardan decides to, like, pick one of the people who played it best and says, okay, yeah, you're better, you take it, and they leave. And so then Cardan takes, I was going to call her Amelia, oh my god. Cardan takes Jude, that's an insult, I'm sorry, Jude. So Cardan takes Jude to somewhere behind the throne.
Yeah, it's like this like secret meeting room behind the throne that's
cool.
really small.
So cool. She didn't know anything about this.
No, she didn't. And he pulls her in there and
Yeah.
essentially is asking, like, because he's finding out that there's some secrets going on that Jude isn't telling him about. And I think it's the note. He received a note from Belkin.
Yes.
And he's like, why haven't I? Because she allows him to get this note.
This one in particular, yes.
And so, because, So anyway, so she allows him to get this note. He's like, I have this note. And why was I essentially allowed to get this note, not on the other ones? Because she admits that she's been intercepting all of the other ones.
Yeah.
And she says because she wants him to go talk to Belkin. Because Belkin won't talk to her. So now her next option is to have Cardan go. And then I think he asked, like, what other... secrets have you been keeping from me?
And she pretty much doesn't want to, like, tell him what, but she just says that Belkin is somebody who's going to have to come for an audience because I want to know what he has to say. And then she says, the other secrets I have or whatever Nikki won't provide. I know that she has something going on with her mom, and we have people who are working for us, but we need to know the actual answer on what's going on because apparently he's working with Belkin.
Yes.
And we want to know. So she tells him to seduce Nikki.
But also I think she tells him too at this point too that Nikki was the one who shot at him.
Yes, she does tell him. Because I don't think he really wanted to do it until that point. She tells him, and then now he's just like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And so she tells him, well, you have to seduce Nikki. Mm-hmm. And this is one of my favorite because he's just like, oh, how do you want me to seduce her? Do you want me to seduce her like this? And then, like, he puts he grabs her by the chin, and I think, like, he starts, like, getting really close to her.
Yep.
And, like, kissing her, and she's just like, yeah, let's do like that.
Could you imagine? You're like,
oh my god.
Yeah, that seems to be working. Why don't you
keep doing that?
Yeah, do that. I think that'll be the way to seduce her.
That's like their whole thing. It's like apparently I think they have sexy time.
They have some sexy time.
Yeah.
But he does say to her during this part too.
Oh, yeah.
Right as their clothes are off, they're on the little bed that's there. He's saying to her, tell me again what you said at the revel that you hate me. Tell me that you hate me, Jude. Oh, sorry. Tell me that you hate me. Jude responds, I hate you so much that sometimes I can't think of anything else.
Oh, I love that line.
That's such a good line.
I love it, love it,
I
love
love them so much.
Yes. So she says, I hate you, and then all that stuff. Oh my god, I love it.
This was the payoff that I was waiting for when she denied him in his throne room. Now we're getting a good payoff here.
And I love that it was behind the throne in a secret room. It's like super them.
It is super them.
Oh, it is. It was like perfectly them. Yes. I was impressed. And
all the way down to the bitter end when they're like confessing how much they hate each other while they're screwing.
Yeah, they love it. They love it.
All right, guys. They're so misguided on what love is. Both of them.
Yeah.
They have no ideas how to process any of the emotions that they have for either of them.
Yeah,
like, they literally cannot
it's so great.
differentiate it
It's
from,
so
like, the hate that they feel.
Now that they had their sexy time, they had their sexy moment, Jude does something kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She just goes and decides she wants to pretend to be Taryn now.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, gets all dressed up, and she's talking about how she's getting dressed up. She's like, oh, I haven't worn these garments in a long time. And then she goes to with Locke, and she's walking around with Locke. Is it in the gardens, or is that Locke's estate?
It's at his estate. I imagine this to be in, like, the stables. I think he was, like, doing chores or something in the stables. Oh my god, I love this part. And so, yeah, she, like, pretends to be Taryn, like, walks up and, like, puts a knife to his throat. Typical Jude style. And essentially says, hey, you need to stop being a piece of shit. Like, you need to treat my sister better. Like, all of the things that Jude should be, or Taryn should be saying to him. Jude is coming and handling business. I love, though, during the scene, she tells him, sit at the chair, and he goes to sit, and she kicks the chair out right before he can sit. Like, it's such a badass bitch.
I love it.
Sit down, boom.
Yeah.
He falls flat on the floor, and then she, I think, continues her threats with him. Like, essentially, be better, quit fucking with my sister.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
And then just leaves.
Yeah, well, she tells her that she'll always make time for him.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit. She's like, I'll always make time for you.
Make time to hunt your ass down. Yeah. Don't you worry.
Yeah. So, she also tells him, because he's like, oh, aren't you going to threaten me if I don't treat your sister right? She goes, oh, Matic will do that. I won't even get a chance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Eyes are on you, bud.
So now, Jude's getting ready to go into the mortal realm.
To go collect Oak and Heather and Vivian.
Yeah. Before she does, she has a quick diner eatery session with Roach, and Roach tells her about his feelings for Bomb. And then she goes to Vivi's house and goes and collects them.
Yes, and it's interesting just to note here that it's been all of this time, and Vivi, Oak, and Heather have all been living together in an apartment. Vivian has not told Heather anything about who she is, about who Oak is, about fairies at all. It is, like, deadline. Like, they're headed towards, like, today's the day that they're all going to travel to the world, and Heather still does not know. In fact, when Jude gets there, Heather's like, where's the car? Did you bring the car? Is it going to fit all of our stuff?
Yeah.
And Jude's like, sure.
Yeah. It's... Just bring it. It'll fit.
Don't worry. And, so, in fact, they don't tell Heather. Vivian doesn't tell Heather until they're walking to get the reeds.
I love the fucking mounts.
And so they magic up some mounts made of reeds.
Yeah, Vivi does her magic thing, and it pops up, and right in front of Heather, she's like, holy shit, what's going on? She's still in denial a little bit.
Poor
at
Heather.
That point, yeah. And so finally, Vivi's like, everything's okay. This is what's happening. We're just magic.
Just hop on. Let's go.
Yeah, so they do. They hop on, and they get to Elfam, or whatever it is called, and she's still trying to explain her, and so Heather is just, like, in awe of everything. But it's also important to note that Vivi, since she didn't tell her anything, also is making it seem like, oh, it's this wonderful place. So, and of course Vivi is Fae, so she is not having to deal with the fucking craziness that everybody puts on Jude and Taryn. So she's gonna see Elfham different.
Yes.
And she doesn't give any of those advice pointers that she should have.
Does not prepare
to Heather.
her.
Yeah. So Jude takes Heather aside and has these conversations with her. Make sure you keep salt with you. Make sure you have clothes inside out. Make sure you wear these Rowan beads.
Don't make bargains. Don't wander too far away. Don't really talk to anybody.
Don't let your guard down. Like a whole bunch of stuff. And Vivi's just like, what are Rowan beads?
Okay, yeah. Like, this poor girl.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to note that Vivian does have a completely different perception, so she wouldn't think, stupidly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think to warn her, I guess. But anyways, so...
Yeah, Jude's going to go now to Carden. I guess that she needs to go have a conversation with him.
But then she sees Carden...
She sees Carden and Nicasia, like...
He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's flirting with her.
He's seducing her.
And this is one of those moments where she thinks internally that she feels a ping of something, but then she just keeps walking. It's like...
I told him to do it.
Yeah, it's like she has these small feelings that she vaguely lets us in on, and boom, there was one. Just a little ping of jealousy, but then she walks off. And then I think, doesn't he...
She meets with Volsiber, the guard, to try and coordinate Belkin's arrival to the palace, so they have an audience with Cardan. And then, so she's doing all this shit random, like, bang, 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 because now she's getting ready. She's trying to prepare for the wedding, because now she knows that things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got all this stuff going on in her head. So she's trying to just get things done. Right after she talks to Volsova to get to Belkin, she decides to go to the Court of Shadows. And on her way to the Court of Shadows, she hears Maddox preparing for war.
Mm-hmm.
She hears Baum talks to her and says that Grimson, the blacksmith, had crafted something for Nikki, which allows her to
have wings.
Yeah, grow wings.
Mm-hmm.
And so she decides at that point, let's go talk to Grimson.
Yes.
So then she goes to Grimson, and he tells Jude that he knew her father.
Mm-hmm. He tried to make a bargain with her father.
Yeah, and she said that he didn't tell her whether or not he actually made that bargain. He just says, "Wouldn't you like to know?"
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And then he says, also this is very important, he says that he no longer deals with deals in coin. He only gives items for barter.
Yeah.
So.
And he gives Jude earrings
for her sister's wedding.
And it's like a moon and a star, and it's supposed to make the wearer like super beautiful and super tempting, so that the suitor won't leave.
Yeah.
Locke won't go out.
Leave. And then she's like, that's pretty much a perfect gift for my sister. And also, since that's a barter,
mm-hmm.
she had to give up a single tear and something else. Oh, he had to pretty much tell Cardan that if he declares war, that he will make him armor and three swords with the might of 30 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just like, oh, what if he doesn't want the world to change? What if he doesn't want to go to war? And then he says, I will make you a vial that stops time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting that he took a tear from her.
Yeah, just a single tear.
Just a single tear.
I wonder what he's going to do with that.
I don't know what he's going to do with that. And then, she goes to Court of Shadows, she goes to see him, and then,
Cardan comes to Jude after that. So I don't know where Jude is exactly, but Cardan goes to Jude pretty much saying, hey, I did what you want me to do. I got all the secrets from Nicasia. She's pretty much saying that her mom is going to act on her threat at Taryn and Locke's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't say, but they were assuming that means going after Oak.
Yes.
But they never specifically said. Nicasia just said they will act on Taryn's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point Nicasia says that mortal power grows, the land and sea out to be united, and that I don't know exactly what that means. As mortal power grows, the land and sea should be united in a front. And I don't know what that means. What mortal power?
I wonder if they're worried about the mortals and like gaining power. So Jude, maybe the other one that like they're just worried about people
mortals coming into the world and starting to gain more power.
Yeah, and tearing the land and the sea apart, which should create more of a united front. And then I think they even have a conversation about like, so last night what happened, and she's like, I got it out of my system, I'm good to go, let's move on with our lives. She lied.
And he's like, really, did you really? And she's like, yeah
I did, it's out of my system now.
Bullshit.
She internalizes that she lied, like she knows.
She did.
But she ain't got time for men right now.
No, and I agree with her. I wouldn't. You got a lot of shit going on, of course you don't need to be caught up in that bullshit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But so now she goes and visits her dad in the strategy room.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is when she concedes and says,
I need help.
And then that she says, yeah, this is a good plan. Let's go with your plans for putting Oak essentially as bait.
Yeah, because now she knows for sure that it's happening at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she tells Maddox, like, yeah. Because he's like, oh, it can happen here, it can happen there, because he still doesn't know when it's going to happen. So he's guessing all these times where he would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him, no, it's going to happen at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, how do you know this?
I got my sources, man.
And so she finally tells him her sources, because now they decide to work together.
Yes.
So he was just like, I really did underestimate you. So, like, every time she gives him a little bit more information on how she's acquiring this stuff,
he respects her a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, he sees her more as, and threatens, because she's becoming more and more his quote-unquote equal.
Yeah. So, Maddox just keeps on enforcing that, hey, you should just work for the family.
Yeah, you should be doing all of this things that you're doing to the benefit of your family, not just because he still does not quite understand what their relationship is.
No,
because he keeps even saying like, Carden doesn't deserve you, like, because again, just like everybody else, they all assume that this relationship is a romantic relationship
where he's pretty much telling her what to do when it's not.
Yeah, like, oh, you're gonna do this for this guy? Like, this is your man, this drunk one sitting on the throne, he deserves so much better, come work for the family, come do this off for the family. And she's like...
And a lot of people are wondering, what did he give her in order for her to give him the crown? They think that he gave her something, and all she keeps saying is, I got my place here, I got my place.
I'm an advisor to the king, that's what he gave me, which... should be good enough. It should be good enough in their eyes to make sense.
It's not,
like,
but they all still question it.
They all still question it. But, and then I think after that is when they do, Belkin comes to the throne room, and he has his audience. A waste of time. Belkin wasted his time. I don't know what he thought he was going to come in the throne room and be like, I want to be your second-hand man. And Carden, of course, is like, no, you murdered the entire family. You're supposed to be in prison for that.
Yeah, it didn't even make sense to have him because we all knew what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And so like you said, he wasted time. But so at the end of that conversation, they pretty much just told him to go back. And he pretty much said, you're making a mistake. I should be by your side. So I think the conversation only did was anger Belkin more to do what he wanted to do.
Yes.
That was it. So he was sent back to the tower. You know what? I also believe that Carden's... viewpoint, he says something good. I didn't send you to the tower because I was indulging my revenge. I was sending you to the tower because it's a just thing to do.
Yeah.
So that shows Carden's character too. So that was
which we got a glimpse of when he was his idea of just punishments or not just punishment, but just ruling when we saw the two fighting over the instrument. We got a taste of that, and here he is
doing it.
He's almost like Wrath.
Yeah.
He's like all about justice.
Yeah. And I find that in this predicament, or this series, I should say, to be an actual, like, good thing. And the other...
Because you're a king, not the fucking demon of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, Carden, I want you to rule. But again, this is another indication of him ruling with a level head. He is not just this aloof ruler that he pretends to be. When shit needs to get done, he is like, he snaps into that role. He snaps in and out of that role so flawlessly.
Yes. So now we have a moment where Jude is now having to go to the estate because her sister wanted her to be part of, like, before the wedding.
Yeah, it's like a bachelorette night.
Yeah.
She wants to be with her sisters and hang out, have girly things.
Yeah, so now she's got to head back to Maddox's estate where she's going.
Traveling from the kingdom, which I think is at the top, all the way down through the forest and shit at night. Because, of course, they all live by the moon.
Yeah. And it's crazy because now she's like, she's listening to all the people in the area and she's thinking it's such a beautiful night. And next thing she knows, she hears hoof prints, like, gaining on her. And so now this battle is so very vague to me. It's like I imagine them jumping on horses, like, beat the shit out of each other. I don't really know what happened, okay? I just know it was a big battle between 7 riders.
Yeah, and her.
Yeah, and I know at the end what happened, but I think while I was reading this, I think I should have reread it, but I know it was this epic, like...
Yeah, this girl was taken on, she's just herself, and I don't even think she has...
7 people.
Yeah, she does not have her sword.
No, she has a dagger.
She's got a dagger. And so these people are riding up on her, all trying to... I also don't know all of the action-packedness that happens, but she, like, stabs one rider in the rib or something, and then she climbs up a tree, and she's like... She's trying to hide from them, but they can see in the dark, so they're, like, throwing stuff at her while she's up there. Yeah. And they're all, like, masked or have, like, helmets on or something like that. And then she ends up, I think she stabs one horse or throws a dagger at the horse, and it rears back and traps one of the riders. And so 2 more trying
to, like, get her out.
Yeah, and then I think she takes another knife or something and throws it at them. I don't know. She takes on seven riders,
Yeah.
and they end up going and run from her.
Yeah.
And she says something to herself here: if I die here in the woods because I wasn't better prepared, because I was too distracted to bother to strap my own stupid sword, I will be absolutely furious with myself. I love her sense of humor. If I die right here,
I'm so pissed.
out of everything that I fucking done, all because I didn't bring my goddamn sword.
Yeah, because she's pretty injured at this point.
Yeah, she got hit with somebody's sword or whatever. So, but they all take off running. They gather up the horses. She got a couple of them, and then she's like limping back to the estate, limping, bleeding.
She's using. So I want to say her sword is with her, but not on her. It's attached to her.
To her horse that died. They killed her horse.
Yeah, and her horse is being devoured by other
horses. Other horses, yeah.
So that's metal. That's metal shit. Like I all hear dun 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 dun. Like as these horses are eating the other horses. Mm-hmm. It's like holy shit.
And then you got this one mortal girl with a couple daggers. Just
so metal. Like, that's heavy metal right there.
And then she's bleeding out, dragging her ass back to the estate.
So she's using her sword as a walking cane.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
We forgot to talk about she did talk to her father before this about the plan for Oak.
Oh, yeah, we went right over that. Yeah, there was 3 plans for Oak when she conceded that this is a good thing to use him as bait. One was
the boat.
The boat when they're
going back
home. Yeah. One was that they were going to be in a carriage when they get to the wedding and just put him outside of it while she was going to be in the carriage and Bomb was going to be somewhere close by. And that was to lure them to like grab her, and they were going to, or grab him. And then the other one was him getting lost in the maze that's on Locke's estate.
Yeah, right during the reception time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those were 3 events. And so she knew about those. Those were all and they were all planned well. And that's why she felt like it was okay to go back home.
Oh, and we also forgot to earlier when her first encounter with Nesta with Nicasia. When we very first see her in Eldrin's room, she says to Jude, "Somebody you trust is going to betray you."
That's right.
Because this is about to come into play. So she says, "Somebody you trust is going to betray you." So Jude is thinking about this the entire time.
Yeah.
Who is it going to be? I thought it was going to be Taryn. I thought it
was going to be Taryn too.
Because I thought that she wasn't going to ever guess that Taryn would fuck her over. Well, even though Taryn continues to fuck her over, she continues to not believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I thought it was like, okay, that's an easy thing and it's understandable and for her to like not think of. And it's true. The whole time, I don't think she really thought Taryn was actually the one to betray her.
Even though Taryn keeps doing it.
Yeah! Like, how do you not see Taryn as whatever?
So I thought it was going to be Taryn, but also she does say that. And then... So those were the 3 options for what they were going to do with Oak.
Yeah, so now Oak is there. He's at the realm. He's staying at the estate, and that's where she's going. Yes. Is going back to the estate where Oak is still safe. He's with his foster mom, so to speak. Yes. And she's like loving on him. And now, so Jude is back at the estate. Before she goes inside, she's like at a water pump trying to like clean herself off.
She's bloody.
Yeah, and so she goes inside, and when she's inside, she sees Oriana, whatever her name is, Oak's mom, and she's pretty much saying, "Why can't Oak stay? Oak, you should." And she's like, "It's not safe." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right.
We've been fucking through this."
Yeah, and so she's just so happy that she could be Oak's mom for that time. And so I think she passes by Maddox, and Maddox smells blood. He's like,
"Yeah,
that's weird.
That is weird."
Yeah.
But then doesn't know where it's coming from or doesn't care to go like look.
So she just goes up to her room and she starts trying to take care of herself in the tub and she's passing out. I think Viv ends up finding her.
She's on the brink of passing out.
Yeah. And so Viv helps her. She stitches up her wounds. She bandages it up.
Badass, man.
Yeah. Like she's like, get a thread that's not so thin. That's what she says. I'm like, okay.
And do it. Like
yeah. So she does. She bandages herself up. She and I think Viv just makes the point is you should just come to the mortal realm. Like this is nonsense.
This is not normal. Like, none of this is happening in the mortal world.
She's like, fuck you. This is fine. I'm fine. Tis but a scratch.
Tis but a scratch. Let's go have girl time.
Yeah.
Pedicures and hair done.
She does it.
The girl's got a huge gash that she hand stitched fucking together. She took on an army of 7 men. Let's go.
Oh, also it's important to note that she doesn't have any of her shit.
None of her shit.
The present that she was giving to her sister, the earrings, are gone.
Yeah, because it was all in the satchel or satch. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
She doesn't have a dress, but don't fret. Oriana brings her a super revealing like low cut dress. Yeah. Not appropriate for a wedding, but Jude's like
guess.
She's like, I guess this is what we're wearing.
Yeah, and so she's got like everything's revealing, and her leg is like sliced up, and
it's getting infected. You don't get any more badass than Jude.
And her face is all fucked up too, by the way.
She's trying to act like it happened. I'm fine. Black eyes.
I think Carden even sees her and he's like, what happened to your face? Yeah.
They just a nice dress.
Yeah. He does.
Well,
he says nice dress.
Nice dress.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because her breasts are hanging out. That's why.
Yeah, he's like, hey, nice dress.
And I think I don't think too much happens here other than they're talking about, is she going to go through with the wedding?
Oh, yeah.
Is it really going to happen? Of course she's going to get married. And then I think it's like the next day she's coming down the stairs in her grand beautiful dress. You know, it's before a wedding.
Yeah, so they go through all this stuff, and you know, I would say they gather together while they're all like together. They talk in the carriage, and I think they have a conversation about how Maddox is so proud of her or whatever, even though, typical family, lovey-dovey before wedding stuff.
I love you, I'm so proud of you, except this man you've got is trash. That's really what they're implying.
Yeah. So during this, the Oak thing is still happening, so they're going through the carriage ride where there's a decoy, and nothing happens. So that's like, so they
like climb out some other area in there,
And then after that, Taryn is saying through the whole carriage ride, once I'm married, things will be different. Once I'm married, things will be different. This is very similar to what Maddox was saying when the king is when the new king is crowned, things will be different. And they go through this whole thing. So now Taryn's doing it, and they're like, yeah, okay. Like, sure, things will be different, Taryn. Okay. Taryn, okay.
Well, yeah, Taryn, I trust you're going to make the fucking...
Yeah. So she said, Dad said that he'll promise to watch over him more, or whatever. Bullshit, yeah. So, Mom notices that Jude's hurting. Of course, how can no one notice?
All of her fucking family is oblivious.
Yeah. And
Jude, Mom's like, yo, here's some potion to stop the infection that's growing in your leg.
Have some ointment for your festering wound. That looks horrid.
Smells from here. How did nobody in the carriage smell that?
I know. It's probably turning green or whatever. Oh. So Jude's just like, okay, I guess it feels better now.
Yeah.
She's like, she said it cools down the infection, whatever. So yeah, Carden finds June. He says, nice dress.
And then they have a conversation about, she tells him, don't be alone tonight. And he's like, I didn't plan to be alone tonight. Yeah. And she doesn't trust him. And so she orders him that you will not be, you're ordered to not be alone before sunset to tomorrow morning or something like that. And then
Carden Maddox.
Carden leaves, and then Maddox is there. Maddox hears, and Maddox now fully understands what is going on between the two of them. That he clearly sees that for some reason, Carden is in an oath with his daughter. Yeah. And that's how she's been controlling him.
That was just like, ooh. At that moment, I was like, shit's going down. Now her dad knows. He's a strategist. Ooh.
And now her dad, I think this is the moment that he officially sees her as his equal and his threat. Because before it was like, he could still persuade her. But now he sees who's actually been in control this whole time, who actually has the full power, and it's not Carden.
Yep, and he says something, like, crazy. He says, Orla and the Undersea, we will vanquish together, but when they are gone, it will be us staring across this chessboard at each other. I will make sure I do it as thoroughly as I would at any opponent who has shown themselves to be my equal. And then he just leaves to go talk to the knights.
Basically says...
It's
about to be war. Yeah. And we're on opposite sides of the table, and I see you as my equal right now, so...
Yeah, you're warned.
You're warned.
Yep.
I'm not going to hold back.
Yep.
Ooh, that's such a good fucking reveal.
I loved that. And this is like during, before the wedding. Like, they're at the wedding before the vows.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
So... I knew some shit was going to go down in this wedding because, I was ready for it. So, anyways, Jude walks. She's like, in her thoughts now, she's like, fuck, 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 fuck. So she decides to be like, fuck it, I'm going in the maze.
I love this part.
She's just like, I'm gonna go get lost in the fucking maze.
Yeah, I don't know. And she does. Get lost, she does.
Yeah.
And she gets so frustrated.
Yeah.
She's like, this fucking maze, like, I'm trying to think. She's, like, trying to brainstorm about what her next steps are. And then she's walking and this maze is twisted and she's yelling at it.
Yeah, she's like beating it up. She's like, fuck you, maze.
I love it so much.
Which is fine and great. She needs to. And then in the middle of it, she starts hearing cries and howls and stuff. And she comes out and it's like this little miniature tower. And apparently it's Heather comes out.
Poor Heather.
And she turns into this like cat tortoise looking thing. They call it a cat tortoise?
A tortoise. I just thought it was a tortoise shell cat. A tortoise shell cat.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, I just thought she was a cat.
No, it was like a tortoise cat. Yeah, so
I should have
I'm
known
like,
it was not simple.
yeah,
cat.
tortoise shell cat. I'm like, like that's fucking weird. So yeah, so
Goddamn Vivian.
Yeah.
Or was that her name? Yeah, Vivian. I don't know why I say Vicky in my head.
Yeah.
Goddamn Vivian.
Yeah, so dude's like, fuck, man, like, well, first she's, like, upset, and then she starts laughing at her.
She does start laughing
oh,
at
my God, that's so fucked up.
Heather's, like, upset about it.
Yeah, she's like, oh, wait, sorry.
Sorry, it's not funny, but fuck.
So she takes her back through the maze, brings her to, and she even tells the maze, this better be where I'm fucking needing to go.
Yeah.
So she takes, I love Jude.
I love Jude.
Yeah, so much. So, kudos to the author. I have to just put it out there.
Kudos to the author. Yeah. Like, girl crushing hard on Jude.
Yeah,
There's nothing Jude doesn't do that I'm not, like, swooning over.
Yeah. So she takes her to the maze, takes her to Viv, and starts yelling at Viv, like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be making sure you're taking care of. So they find out who puts this enchantment over her. Mm-hmm. And they go and give he's just like,
some boy.
He's some boy that works in, like, he's in the band.
Yeah.
He's in the fucking wedding band.
And it's because, and he admits to doing it and says it's because
he looks like like her.
Like, come on,
he
bro. You could have made yourself look any more obvious. But he says it's because poor Vivian just said, like,
a party favor.
Yeah, or, like, and that she liked his look or something like that, so he gave it to her, and, like,
yeah, pretty
poor Vivian. Or, not poor Heather.
Yeah.
Fucking Vivian. Like, I'm mad at Vivian.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not... This is your girlfriend, the one that you're supposed to love, and how are you not taking care of her at all?
Did not even pay
But again, just another point that every other folk, it just goes over their head. Even if they've grown up with mortals, that everyone's just ignored all of the trauma that Jude and Taryn have gone through. How are you not going to protect the girl that you love? Is annoying, but she doesn't, and then
she glamours her. I hate this so much, and so does Jude. Mm-hmm. She just like, you shouldn't have done that. But yeah, she glamours her to being like, oh, you just fallen. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, you fell. Don't, it's okay. Like,
oh, that's so manipulative.
Instead of living with the consequences of your fault because you didn't protect your girlfriend, you're careless about what she was up to, and now you're gonna glamour her to just be like, it's okay.
And she wanted to go home. She's like, take me home now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's almost like she fucking forced her against her will to forget. Oh, I'm super mad at Viv for this.
Yeah, I don't like Viv.
It bothered me so much.
Yeah, I agree. And and I think it bothered Taryn too. What was Taryn there? No, Taryn wasn't there.
No, Taryn didn't know.
It was just Jude.
Yeah.
So
during this, Ghost and Volsiver, the guard, just comes up to Jude and is like, in a very, like, stoic manner, like, hey, you need to come with us. Something's happening at the Tower of Forgetting. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, what? And Bomb and Roach is like, don't worry, we'll take care of everybody. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go.
Essentially saying that the Undersea made its move. So it's time. And it's not shocking to Jude because they've been expecting it, though they were expecting it to happen with Oak, and they thought that they pre-planned for this.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything, but now...
It's not happening to Oak. She's like, fuck, it's Belkin.
Yep.
So now...
Why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
Fucking...
Yep, so now she's going to go to the Tower of Forgetting. She gets there, and it's fucking like, people are just like, drowned on land.
Yep, like a war has happened. Yeah. And I think like the tower was like, in my head, I thought it was like split open. Like
it was all fucked up. Like, so she gets through the tower, and Lady Ash is there. And she's just like, don't even worry about any of our bargains. Just go. Just go. And she's like, why are you doing this? She said, for Cardin's sake. And, and Lady Asha gives a weird look like, why for Cardin's sake?
Yep.
So that's weird and interesting. So she ends up leaving. And she goes and makes her way to Belkin, and Belkin's gone.
Yep.
And this is kind of shitty at this point, what ends up happening.
This is super, super shitty.
So, Ghost and Volsiver come up to her, and she's looking at them like, what the hell, what's going on? And, they just pretty much tell her that, I don't work for you.
Yep.
I worked for Prince Dane.
Yep.
And...
you are not my leader.
Yeah.
and you're coming with me.
So that's who betrayed her was Ghost.
That is who betrayed her. That's who, and that it makes so much sense too that that's whom Nicasia would know, because Nicasia knows who's working with her mom.
Yeah.
And Belkin and all that, but she wouldn't have known if it was Taryn or anybody else, but she would have known that it was Ghost. And so, that was such a good twist.
Yeah.
So sad though, because
he hit her on the back of the head too.
He hits her on the back of the head,
and she's unconscious. So right now, that's where. So let you know, this is the end of book 1 in The Wicked King. There's 2 parts of this book, so we're gonna have to meet you back on another episode, so to speak, for book 2. But to continue real quick, she's knocked out unconscious, and the last things you remember is she wished she would have went back and give Taryn a kiss before she left. She also realized that Locke is limping.
At the wedding.
Yes, and
Taryn has her earrings.
Yes, she's like, oh, fuck Locke.
She knew it was, now she knows it's Locke.
Yeah.
It was Locke who attacked her in the fucking woods.
Yeah, but she couldn't go there because she had to leave.
Yep.
But she saw it as she was leaving.
She's gonna make time for him. She always makes time for
her. Yeah. So that's the last thing she remembers.
That's the last thing she remembers.
Yeah.
The utter betrayal of her Court of the Shadows.
So fucking sad.
Ghost.
But how great! How great is this book?
This book is fucking amazing.
Great.
We're not even done with it.
Yeah,
the good stuff hasn't. Yeah. The good stuff has happened.
Yeah, but more good stuff is on the way. We will talk about our favorite and our. I don't even know if there's a worst part. We will talk about all that stuff in the next episode. We're gonna have to stop here for now. Yeah. So if you like our episode and you want to join us for more, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you then.
Yay. Bye.